The next day, Qin Ming continued to cultivate for half a day, consolidating his cultivation. At 5 p.m., Qin Ming came to Jushuan Pavilion once again. Fellow Taoist Qin, have you broken through to the Qi cultivation 5th layer? Congratulations! Congratulations, fellow Taoist Qin, for advancing in cultivation, taking another step on the path of the immortal Tao. Shopkeeper Liao had been eagerly awaiting, never expecting fellow Taoist Qin to come again so soon. About to be promoted by the pavilion master, he had been showing off in front of his colleagues in the pavilion these past 2 days, truly feeling triumphant, always thinking of this nobleman, Qin Ming. But unexpectedly, upon seeing fellow Taoist Qin again, the other party's cultivation had broken through once more. Wait, a thought flashed through shopkeeper Liao's mind, and he suddenly realized something. Fellow Taoist Qin was previously at the Qi cultivation 4th layer, and in such a short time, he broke through to the 5th layer. Could it be he successfully refined a middle-grade spirit pill? Does that not mean fellow Taoist Qin is not only a middle-grade spirit plant master, but also a middle-grade alchemist now? Shopkeeper, as agreed before, I've refined some pills to sell part to you. Qin Ming stated his intentions straightforwardly. Upon hearing this, shopkeeper Liao was overjoyed. Oh, that's wonderful. I wonder if fellow Taoist Qin successfully refined a middle-grade pill yesterday. Though hopeful, shopkeeper Liao couldn't help but ask, as breaking through to a middle-grade alchemist is not so easy. Many alchemists get stuck at this hurdle, sometimes for years if not decades. Indeed, I've just succeeded, Qin Ming said nonchalantly. What? Shopkeeper Liao was utterly stunned. Even if he confirmed his suspicions, hearing Qin Ming personally admit it was still somewhat shocking. Fellow Taoist Qin, being so young and breaking through to a middle-grade alchemist, his alchemy talent probably rivals Master Su's, right? Thinking of this, shopkeeper Liao couldn't help but shudder, immediately saying, Fellow Taoist Qin, our pavilion master instructed that whenever you come, we must invite you to meet the pavilion master. Oh, this time, it was Qin Ming's turn to be slightly surprised. In his impression, Gu Qingzhao had always been aloof and detached from worldly affairs. Why would she suddenly wish to see him? Subsequently, shopkeeper Liao led him upstairs, announced his arrival, and then left Qin Ming there alone. Jushuan Pavilion, 7th floor private room. Fragrant incense wafting subtly. The air was laced with a gentle fragrance. Gu Qingzhao was still dressed in plain clothes, but this time she was not engrossed in reading scripture, a rare occurrence. She gracefully walked to the door to welcome Qin Ming into the elegant room. Fellow Taoist Qin, I apologize if I was neglectful before. I hope you don't mind. Qin Ming raised his head to meet Gu Qingzhao's cool gaze and noticed a trace of a smile upon her red lips. The air was serene within the enclosed room, with bead curtains hanging by the window. A man and woman sat facing each other across the table. The lantern lights were faint, possibly just bathed. Gu Qingzhao exuded a scent of orchids and osmanthus, subtle yet lingering. Her breath was fresh, her skin as smooth as jade, her graceful figure faintly revealed beneath the simple attire, exuding an enchanting allure. Faced with such a captivating beauty, Qin Ming couldn't help but be impressed. He couldn't help but think to himself, what's this lady up to now? I heard fellow Taoist Qin has broken through to a middle-grade alchemist. Gu Qingzhao personally poured Qin Ming a cup of spirit tea, asking softly with a smile. Qin Ming nodded. Indeed, I've come to sell some pills and also to purchase spiritual materials. Saying this, Qin Ming took out 2 bottles of qi condensing pills and a bottle of spirit gathering pills from his storage pouch. Placing them on the table, each bottle contained 5 pills. He originally wasn't in a hurry to sell the spirit gathering pills, but didn't expect to be greeted by pavilion master Gu Qingzhao herself. So, he decided to temporarily change his plan and showcase some of his strength. After all, if Qin Ming wanted to access higher-level cultivation information in circles, he had to demonstrate his value. Gu Qingzhao opened the 3 pill bottles in front of her, carefully inspecting each one. Her starry eyes grew increasingly bright, and she sincerely praised Qin Ming. I didn't expect fellow Taoist Qin to have such exceptional alchemy talent. Being both a middle-grade spirit plant master and middle-grade alchemist, dual skills at the middle-grade level, is quite rare within Qingyang market. This qi condensing pill I can purchase for 225 spirit stones per bottle. As for the spirit gathering pill, I can offer 350 spirit stones per bottle. What does fellow Taoist Qin think? Gu Qingzhao's voice was as clear as a spring, and her every smile was dazzling. The prices she offered were 10% higher than the current market prices. Qin Ming could feel that she was clearly showing goodwill. Deal. However, I would like to exchange all the spirit stones this time for several types of spiritual materials for refining spirit gathering pills. Qin Ming agreed happily, but quickly added. Upon hearing this, Gu Qingzhao smiled, revealing her pearly teeth. Looks like fellow Taoist Qin can already stably refine spirit gathering pills. Spirit gathering pills are among the most challenging middle-grade pills to refine, I suppose. Did a master guide you, fellow Taoist Qin? She picked up the teapot again and gracefully poured Qin Ming another cup of spirit tea, subtly inquiring. Qin Ming hesitated for a moment, then candidly said, "Indeed, this breakthrough to middle-grade alchemist was thanks to the guidance of Brother Su." As soon as he finished speaking, Gu Qingzhao sank into brief contemplation, not even noticing as the teapot overflowed. "Fellow Taoist Gu, the tea is overflowing," Qin Ming reminded. Gu Qingzhao snapped out of her reverie, quickly setting the teapot down. She took a silk handkerchief to wipe the spilled tea. Looking slightly apologetic, she said, "I apologize, fellow Taoist Qin." She had just realized something and then inwardly chuckled. Fellow Taoist Qin must have withheld some truths previously. He hadn't told me the truth. If his relationship with Master Su was just ordinary, how could he even taught alchemy skills? I'd underestimated fellow Taoist Qin. After clarifying the crucial point, Gu Qingzhao decisively stood up, her attitude sincerely inviting. "I want to formally invite fellow Taoist Qin to become an honored guest elder of our pavilion. All the terms will be preferential. Of course, if fellow Taoist Qin has any conditions, feel free to bring them up." Qin Ming was taken aback by her words. He hadn't expected Gu Qingzhao would directly extend an olive branch to him. Qin Ming, after a brief thought, politely declined her offer. "Thank you for your kind offer, fellow Taoist Gu, but I'm used to being free and unrestrained, not fond of ties, so I must decline the honored guest elder position." He harbored many secrets that required utmost caution, though now he had some self-preservation skills. But if he were to encounter high-tier cultivators like those at the foundation establishment stage, they could easily overpower him. He also didn't want to be embroiled in the power struggles of these factions, wishing only to cultivate quietly for now. "I hope to maintain our current cooperative relationship. I'll continue to sell pills and spirit rice at Jushuan Pavilion as usual." Qin Ming contemplated and stated earnestly. Gu Qingzhao was somewhat at a loss. She hadn't expected Qin Ming to outright reject her without much consideration. It was almost the same response as Master Su's back then. "Since fellow Taoist Qin has made up his mind, I won't insist any further. I just hope that in the future, we can strengthen our cooperation with fellow Taoist Qin." Gu Qingzhao noticed Qin Ming's resolute attitude. She knew it was impossible to win him over quickly. However, she wasn't in a hurry. There is plenty of time ahead, and slowly engaging with him would not be a bad idea. As long as Qin Ming remains in Qingyang market, opportunities will always arise. The negotiation between the two parties concluded. Gu Qingzhao stood up and escorted Qin Ming downstairs. She then instructed shopkeeper Liao to deliver the spiritual materials Qin Ming needed. After Gu Qingzhao left, Qin Ming said to shopkeeper Liao, "Shopkeeper, I want to purchase a flying spiritual artifact. I wonder if your pavilion has any good ones." Shopkeeper Liao's expression was somewhat gloomy. He was just regretting that Qin Ming didn't agree to become an honored guest elder. "Of course we do. Fellow Taoist Qin, not to brag, but our flying ship spiritual artifact is one of the best in this market." Shopkeeper Liao, hearing about new business, instantly perked up, his face radiating an enthusiastic smile as he responded. In a few days, Qin Ming was going to the Spirit Feather Sect's branch in Yinhuang Marsh. Although it's not far from the market, he still needed a flying ship to get there. Leaving Qingyang Market, the Yunza wilderness was crawling with various tribulation cultivators, high-tier demon beasts, and many unpredictable dangers, requiring extreme caution. Though he had the Dharma ship from those 4 people in his storage pouch, they were standard magical artifacts of the Spirit Feather Sect, and he dared not use them openly. Qin Ming planned to buy one that was better. Shopkeeper Liao led him to the artifact refining pavilion and introduced him one by one. This is the most common low-grade cyan leaf Dharma ship, which most cultivators use, priced at 50 spirit stones. The middle-grade flying spiritual artifact, Type V Gale Pursuit Carriage, is highly cost-effective and popular among loose cultivators with certain financial means, priced at 100 spirit stones. The high-grade flying spiritual artifact, Flowing Light Flying Carpet, has 3 imbued wind array restrictions. Its speed is incredibly fast, comparable to the full-speed flight of a perfection cultivator. It's the work of Master Jin from the refining hall and priced at 600 spirit stones. Flying spiritual artifacts are relatively cheaper than other types of magical artifacts. Qin Ming carefully examined these flying spiritual artifacts and straightforwardly asked, "Do you have anything faster?" Shopkeeper Liao was briefly bewildered by his question. He found them slow? Yes. Of course we do. He promptly nodded. He then presented 2 artifacts, a flying sword and a flying shuttle spiritual artifact. Fellow Taoist Qin, these 2 flying spiritual artifacts have quite a reputation. Both are the masterpieces of the artifact refining Master Fangyi. This top-grade flying sword spiritual artifact is called the Sky-Piercing Shadow-Stealing Flying Sword. It contains 5 gale restriction arrays designed for speed bursts. At its fastest, it's comparable to the normal flight state of an early-stage foundation establishment cultivator. Priced at 900 spirit stones. Shopkeeper Liao observed Qin Ming's reaction from the corner of his eye. Seeing him silent, he proceeded to introduce the next. The top-grade flying shuttle spiritual artifact, named Spiritual Light Shuttle, is equipped with an impressive 6 gale restriction arrays and an additional defense restriction array, providing some defense capabilities. At full exertion, its speed matches that of an early-stage foundation establishment cultivator in full flight. However, at full speed, it consumes mana significantly, priced at 1,350 spirit stones. Lucky for you, the price of artifacts decreased recently. Otherwise, this spiritual light shuttle would be much more expensive. Qin Ming, after a brief deliberation, decided, "All right, I'll take it." Oh, fellow Taoist Qin indeed has a discerning eye. Shopkeeper Liao exclaimed joyfully, having clinched a big deal and thoughtfully offered, "After discounts, the total is 1,215 spirit stones. We'll round it down to 1,200 spirit stones for fellow Taoist Qin." The transaction concluded. Shopkeeper Liao graciously saw Qin Ming out, watching until his figure disappeared, and couldn't help but marvel. Fellow Taoist Qin is truly different since becoming a middle-grade alchemist. He spends generously. These days, he finds fellow Taoist Qin's manner of spending spirit stones utterly composed. Qin Ming followed the main street of Qingyang Market back to cool small residence. He was about to activate the restriction and open the door. Squeak! The courtyard gate of the neighboring residence suddenly opened, and an elderly man with white hair and a bald head emerged from inside, emitting the mana of a Qi cultivation perfection cultivation. The person was also startled to see Qin Ming. Then his face bloomed with a smile as he approached Qin Ming, cupping his hands in a friendly gesture. "You must be fellow Taoist Qin? I am Yin. Just moved here. We'll be neighbors from now on." Elder Yin. Qin Ming promptly returned the salutation, and the two acquainted with one another. Then Qin Ming chatted briefly with him. Through their conversation, he learned that this elderly man with the surname Yin was also a middle-grade alchemist. Wasn't this a coincidence? Nevertheless, Qin Ming did not reveal to him that he was also a middle-grade alchemist. Fellow Taoist Qin, when I registered at the Steward Hall, they mentioned you are a middle-grade spirit plant master. Seeing you today, so young, your immortal path is boundless. Master Yan praised. By the way, fellow Taoist Qin, I've familiarized myself with the neighbors around here. The courtyard next to yours belongs to the Feng brothers, demon beast hunters. The two courtyards opposite. Ding Courtyard is fellow Taoist Huang, late-stage Qi cultivation, a high-grade refiner, serving as chief refiner at the refining hall in the market. Bing Courtyard is fellow Taoist Lin, also a Qi cultivation perfection cultivation, a middle-grade array master, and they are all loose cultivators. Except for meeting the Feng brothers once, he didn't know anyone else. Upon Master Yan's revelation, Qin Ming realized that many new neighbors had moved nearby, and they were all skilled, loose cultivators. Master Yan, noticing Qin Ming's astonishment, couldn't help but say, not just you, fellow Taoist Qin. I was quite taken aback when I first arrived. I've communicated with them. We loose cultivators aren't easy, gathering from all corners for such a connection. I'm planning a small exchange meeting to get acquainted and interact, just a day's gathering at my place. What do you think, fellow Taoist Qin? Qin Ming hesitated, as he personally wasn't fond of such gatherings. But he relented considering they were neighbors, responding, let's go along with Elder Yan, but it might be inconvenient for the next few days. I have to go out. It's fine. The Feng brothers are out hunting demon beasts, so let's set it for a month later. Master Yan thought for a moment and consulted Qin Ming. Fellow Taoist Qin, what do you think? I'll send a communication talisman to notify you. All right, I'll make sure to attend on time then. Qin Ming nodded in agreement. The two exchanged a few more pleasantries. Master Yan had matters to attend to, so he excused himself. He entered his courtyard and closed the door. Qin Ming sighed heavily. Why did so many highly cultivated cultivators suddenly move in? The pressure is big. Can't get too complacent, better stay low profile. 2 days later, in the morning, Qin Ming prepared himself and then exited the courtyard gate. Outside Qingyang Market, Qin Ming slapped his storage pouch, and the top-grade spirit light shuttle floated before him. He couldn't hide his excitement and stepped onto it, then activated his mana. Whoosh! The spirit light shuttle transformed into a cyan stream of light and instantly vanished into the sky. Although this wasn't Qin Ming's first time riding a flying spiritual artifact, he was still a bit nervous. Qin Ming piloted the shuttle, and after a few bumpy moments, he got used to the state and began to navigate smoothly. Looking at the rapidly retreating scenery below, he felt a sense of joy and carefree ease rise within him. Below, the Yunza wilderness stretched with forests and marshes and towering peaks in layers, shrouded in green hues. Some areas were covered all year round by a toxic miasma that blocked out the sun, like barriers in the heavens, with fierce beasts lurking within. Half an hour later, Qin Ming piloted the Spirit Light shuttle and arrived before a massive mountain range. The highest peak pierced the clouds, with steep cliffs on both sides, stretching endlessly. The Cyan Mountain, faintly visible, misty, and wrapped in haze. Wisps of smoke and mist coiled around the mountainside, spiraling upward, growing thicker with altitude, and gathering together. The main peak of Cloud Python Mountain resembled a powerful and majestic flood dragon perched atop the sea of clouds. The branch sect of Spirit Feather Sect resided upon this tier 2 spirit vein. Mountain Peak Immortal Palaces stood tall, with ancient halls and buildings exuding elegance. Even though this was just a branch sect outpost, it showcased unparalleled grandeur. As Qin Ming approached with the shuttle, cultivators riding Dharma ships continuously passed by. Atop the main peak was a defense array, and Qin Ming landed in front of the mountain gate on a massive white jade square. Within the square, a wave of cultivators had already gathered one after another, seemingly invited to attend Elder Zhuang's lecture. The cultivators lined up orderly, waiting for identity checks to enter the mountain gate. When Qin Ming's turn came, he showed his jade talisman, and after the guards checked, he was allowed to pass. However, seeing Qin Ming was a spirit farmer of Spirit Feather Sect, they looked at him a few times. Qin Ming took the Jade Scroll guide given by the guards and followed the spiraling stone steps up the mountain path, arriving before a massive hall. Wuzhen Hall. This place is where the elders of Spirit Feather Sect usually teach and give lectures. Qin Ming stepped inside and found the space very spacious, with simple decorations and rows of ancient-style tables and chairs neatly arranged. At this moment, more than 300 cultivators had already gathered in the hall, mostly from a main sect of Spirit Feather Sect, also including loose cultivators like him who had come from Qingyang Market. Many cultivators took the opportunity before the lecture started to gather in groups chatting. Qin Ming casually chose a seat in the middle to the rear. There wasn't much to do at the moment, so he took out a book on spirit plants and began reading. At this time, a voice sounded behind him. "Hey, greetings, fellow cultivator. I see you're a spirit plant master of Spirit Feather Sect, right?" Qin Ming heard and turned around to look and saw the speaker was a lean, middle-aged, loose cultivator. "I am merely a spirit farmer," Qin Ming frankly replied. The lean cultivator appeared surprised, then said, "Then it seems fellow cultivator is truly fortunate to have obtained a jade talisman. Alas, it's different for me. I spent nearly all my assets just to get this jade talisman from Mingjin Tower, such a ripoff." The lean cultivator appeared deeply pained, then lowered his voice and said, "Do you know why Elder Zhuang of Spirit Feather Sect suddenly decided to give an open lecture?" Qin Ming looked confused and shook his head, saying no idea. "Isn't it said that this open lecture is to select disciples?" A cultivator at a neighboring table chimed in. The lean cultivator disdainfully glanced at the speaker, then said, "You think these sects are so benevolent, accepting disciples without charging their own, and instead benefiting outsiders? What are you thinking? Too naive, fellow cultivator." Qin Ming frowned at those words, feeling there might be some truth to them. As the lean cultivator spoke, several cultivators nearby gathered around. "Fellow Taoist, judging by your expression, it seems you know the inside story. Quickly, tell us more." The lean cultivator cleared his throat, revealing a hint of satisfaction, and continued to speak in a lowered voice. "As far as I know, Elder Zhuang Shiran of the Spirit Feather Sect has a strange temperament, not fond of displaying his force, yet his strength is unfathomable. He seldom involves himself in sect affairs, spending years absorbed in the path of spiritual plants, without offspring, and he has only 3 disciples, 2 being Tier 1 high-grade spirit plant masters, the other a Tier 1 middle-grade spirit plant master. However, it's said that his 3 disciples, in comparison to disciples of other elders, are much inferior in spirit plant mastery. This instance of publicly offering lessons and recruiting disciples is undoubtedly with a motive." At this point, the lean cultivator stopped, looking around at the cultivators who had gathered, piquing everyone's curiosity. "Hey, don't play riddles. Just tell us already. The lecture will start soon." The lean cultivator revealed a meaningful smile and asked the group, "Do you know the final challenge for advancing to Tier 2 Spirit Plant Master?" "Of course, isn't it the Plant Illusion Realm trial?" The crowd responded in unison. The lean cultivator shook his head, then mysteriously revealed a surprising piece of information to those present. "You only know the surface, not the depth. The Plant Illusion Realm resides within the Spirit Feather Sect, and every 10 years, a few strands of the legendary Mother Chi of 10,000 Woods are born. This Mother Chi of 10,000 Woods is incredibly beneficial even for Tier 2 Spirit Plant Masters. Those Spirit Plant Masters who perform outstandingly in the Plant Illusion Realm trial have the chance to obtain a strand of the Mother Chi within the realm. I believe Elder Zhuang's grand gesture this time must be aimed at this Mother Chi. In a few years, the Plant Illusion Realm will reach another 10-year cycle. So this time, cultivators below Tier 1 middle-grade Spirit Plant Master have no chance of becoming Elder Zhuang's disciples. At best, they can listen to the 2-day lessons to gain some spirit plant knowledge." The lean cultivator's words had just ended. "What? Why didn't you say so earlier?" I'm only a low-grade spirit plant master. Alas, so am I. Forget it. I'll treat it as spending a hefty sum to attend a Tier 2 high-grade spirit plant master's lecture to better my understanding. It's worth it. Amidst the crowd, a burst of sighing erupted. Upon hearing this, Qin Ming fell into contemplation. His primary objective was to pass the plant illusion realm assessment and smoothly achieve advancement to a Tier 2 spirit plant master. As for the mother chi of 10,000 woods, I'll deal with that when the time comes. Whether Elder Zhuang Shiran will even consider him is uncertain, though he is currently a young middle-grade spirit plant master. After all, Spirit Feather Sect does have quite a few extraordinarily talented disciples. In the midst of the crowd's whispered conversations, AM had arrived. Dong, dong, dong. The bronze bell outside Wuzhen Hall chimed 3 times. Under the attentive gaze of many cultivators, an elder with crane-like hair and youthful face stepped into the hall, hands clasped behind him. Instantly, a terrifying Foundation establishment stage aura descended abruptly. The hall immediately became silent, with not a sound to be heard. Elder Zhuang Shiran, donned in a gray-white Taoist robe, with hair and beard all white, a rosy complexion, profound eyes, bearing an otherworldly aura of wisdom and grace. Qin Ming also, for the first time, beheld a high-caliber Foundation establishment cultivator, inevitably finding his heart's spirit slightly shaken. Elder Zhuang Shiran took the main seat at the center and slowly began to speak. I presume everyone here is a spirit plant master. Then, before I begin the lecture, I wish to ask a question. What is a spirit plant master? Meanwhile, 10 miles outside the Spirit Feather Sect's mountain gate, at a concealed mountain hollow, 5 masked cultivators draped in black robes stood at the edge of a cliff, gazing distantly at the direction of the Spirit Feather Sect. Big brother, who would have thought that the old man with the surname Zhuang teaching a lesson could draw in such a crowd? There seemed to be quite a few fat sheep inside. Should we? The tall cultivator, standing among the 5, spoke indifferently. First, let's handle the main task. Didn't you listen to what I said? These words made the black-robed cultivator who had just spoken shiver and fall silent, uttering no more. Inside Wuzhen Hall, the cultivators were all speaking, actively responding to Elder Zhuang Shiran's questions. Cultivating spirit plants is to seize the essence of heaven and earth, to hold the transformation of all things in one's hands. Endlessly fascinating. They answered for quite some time. Elder Zhuang Shiran glanced past the crowd, casually pointed, and said, "That cultivator over there, stand up and answer." Qin Ming was listening intently, not intending to say anything. He noticed Elder Zhuang was pointing in his direction and couldn't help but look around. But he found that all the cultivators' eyes were now focused on him. Qin Ming suddenly realized Elder Zhuang Shiran was clearly referring to him. Qin Ming froze for a moment, being stared at by so many people, giving him a sense of discomfort. How could it be such a coincidence? However, he was not at all flustered, calmly and composedly stood up from his chair, thought for a moment, and said, "The path of spiritual plants requires familiarity with the various habits of crops, to master spiritual rain, weed and eradicate pests, and also to deal with spirit fields and spiritual soil daily. It's just like farming." As soon as he finished speaking, the air seemed to carry a hint of silence. The expressions of the cultivators present began to break into laughter, with some chuckling softly. But there were also cultivators nodding, seemingly agreeing with his statement. "Hee, you may sit down." At this moment, Elder Zhuang Shiran rarely showed a smile. The cultivators present were all stunned, some completely baffled. Actually, what he said isn't entirely wrong. The path of spirit plants is indeed no different from farming. It's just ordinary people grow grains as a source of sustenance for life. We cultivators farm to transform into resources on the path of cultivation. Just as Qin Ming was about to sit down, he noticed a cultivator in front of him, staring at him intently. Qin Ming glanced up, their eyes met, and he felt a sudden unease. It was Jiang Kuan, What is this bastard doing here? Attending a spirit plant master's lecture. In an instant, Qin Ming's nerves tightened, and countless thoughts raced through his mind. The 4 subordinates Jiang Kuan had sent had already been disposed of by him. The other party couldn't possibly guess it was him, could they? Otherwise, there must be some concerns. Thinking of this, Qin Ming sat back down in his chair. Meanwhile, Jiang Kuan, sitting in front, had his brows tightly furrowed, his expression fluctuating. Though he had some suspicions, no matter how he imagined, he couldn't link the death of 4 mid-to-late Qi cultivation cultivators with a spirit farmer. After the lecture ends, I'll go probe this kid. Jiang Kuan made up his mind, glanced at Qin Ming, and turned back to look forward. Qin Ming felt a sudden, ominous premonition in his heart. The hall returned to calm. Elder Zhuang Shiran began to teach the path of spiritual plants. Though Qin Ming was slightly disturbed by Jiang Kuan's appearance, he didn't overly mind. Listening attentively to Elder Zhuang's lecture from a Tier 2 spirit plant master. Attending the class for this session, Qin Ming became increasingly astonished, gaining a lot from it. Elder Zhuang's mastery of spirit plants was so high that the cultivators present listened with fascination. The public lecture lasted the entire day. Finally, Elder Zhuang Shiran answered some questions from the spirit plant masters present. All right, today's spirit plant class will end here for now. There will be another part of the lecture tonight. Tomorrow, I will examine you all. You may temporarily lodge in the guest welcoming garden for the night. But the upcoming exam content is limited to middle grade and above spirit plant masters. The rest of you may disperse. After Elder Zhuang's words, he stood up and left. The cultivators inside Wuzhen Hall also began to leave. Qin Ming also planned to sneak away. But just as one foot stepped out the hall door, a familiar voice called from behind. Fellow Taoist Qin, don't be in such a hurry to leave. Qin Ming turned around and saw. As expected, it was Jiang Kuan. Jiang Kuan's slanted phoenix eyes narrowed slightly. Gazing at Qin Ming, coldly asked, "My incompetent junior brother Qinxiang was found disposed of near the spirit field on the back hill. I wonder, what does fellow Taoist Qin think about this?" After speaking, his eyes locked on Qin Ming, observing his reaction. Qin Ming heard and showed a shocked expression, exclaiming, Such a thing happened." Jiang Kuan continued to stare at Qin Ming, questioning further. "You really don't know? I heard that before he had trouble, Junior Brother Chun went looking for you." "Yes, Brother Chun did come to discuss considering joining your pavilion one day. After that, I haven't seen him for several days. I wonder where fellow Taoist Qin acquired the Jade Talisman." Jiang Kuan continued to ask. "This Jade Talisman was a gift from Pavilion Master Ge. You can ask her if you don't believe me," Qin Ming said, lying without batting an eye. Besides, Jiang Kuan and Mirror Snow Pavilion were deadlocked enemies. He probably wouldn't confront Ge Qingzhao about it. Qin Ming calmly spoke eloquently. He paused for a moment, then suddenly asked, "Brother Jiang, you wouldn't suspect me, a spirit farmer, would you?" Jiang Kuan's eyes darted uncertainly, pondering for a while before suddenly breaking into a smile. How could I? I was just a bit puzzled, simply asking." Upon hearing this, Qin Ming forced a smile and cupped his hands. "Since there's nothing else, then I shall bid farewell." He was already certain that the other party had no evidence, merely suspicions, nor did he dare to act openly within Spirit Feather Sect. Qin Ming then followed the other spirit plant masters to the adjacent welcome garden for a short rest and some refreshments. After Qin Ming left, a cultivator beside Jiang Kuan stepped forward to ask, "Brother Jiang, what should we do?" "Should we? No rush. Let's wait and see. Uncle Zhuang's matter is important in these 2 days. No disturbances. If we make a move, it won't be within the sect. I'm still puzzled over how Junior Brother Chun and those 4 met their end. Keep a close watch on this kid for me, and once Uncle's matters are dealt with tomorrow, then we'll decide." Jiang Kuan ordered with a somber face. "Yes." While sipping a drink, Qin Ming contemplated what had just happened. He had already formulated a plan. An hour later, The lecture started again. This time, the number of spirit plant masters left in the hall had decreased by 2/3. Only about 100 cultivators remained. Qin Ming glanced around the hall and found that Jiang Kuan didn't come. Not long after, Elder Zhuang Shiran re-entered the hall. He glanced at the cultivators present, nodded slightly, and resumed teaching. At that moment, boom! Just as Elder Zhuang was midway through his lecture, a massive rumbling erupted outside, startling the cultivators present, causing a temporary panic. Inside the hall, before everyone could come to their senses, Elder Zhuang Shiran from the main seat had already vanished in a flash of white light. What happened? Why does it feel like the hall is about to collapse? What's causing such a huge commotion outside? Could it be that someone is attacking the mountain gate? Let's go. We need to check it out quickly. About 100 spirit plant masters and cultivators started rushing outside in a flurry. Qin Ming was also shocked. The loud explosion just now was deafening, as if it were very close by. He hurriedly ran out to take a look. He found that outside was already in chaos. Qin Ming looked up and was astonished to discover that the Spirit Feather Sect's Sect defense array had a breach in one spot. It's important to note that this is a Tier 2 high-grade defense array. Brother, what just happened? Qin Ming randomly stopped a flustered disciple of Spirit Feather Sect. It seems something happened at Elder Zhuang's medicine garden. The disciple seemed unclear about the specifics and hurried towards the direction of the garden. Qin Ming frowned deeply. He was hesitating whether to flee far away from this troublesome place when suddenly, damn, that was brutal. They even broke through a Tier 2 defense array, like beasts. The lean cultivator who was originally sitting behind Qin Ming came rushing back from the direction of the medicine garden. Qin Ming was slightly taken aback and asked puzzledly, "My friend, do you know what exactly happened over there?" The lean cultivator stopped upon hearing Qin Ming, wearing a schadenfreude expression, and laughed. "Haha, you might not believe it if I told you. Just now, a group of bandits used a high-tier forbidden breaking talisman to break through the Spirit Feather Sect's defense grand array, and while Elder Zhuang was giving a lecture, they plundered the spirit medicine garden. They even took Elder Zhuang's 7-colored heart-cleansing lotus, which is a Tier 2 top-grade spirit plant. I just went to have a look at the scene, and many other precious spirit plants and spirit medicines were also lost. Elder Zhuang has now gone to pursue those bandits. Let's hope he can catch them." Qin Ming understood the situation and fell into deep thought, unable to recover for the moment. From the start to the end of the attack, it lasted only about the time it takes to drink half a cup of tea, as if everything had been premeditated. What was most shocking was that the Spirit Feather Sect let all those bandits escape. Wait a minute. Qin Ming recalled something. Why did it feel so familiar? After a while, Qin Ming asked, didn't other cultivators from the Spirit Feather Sect try to stop them? They did. Even the Foundation establishment elders of the Spirit Feather Sect took action. However, they were defeated in just one round, hit by a spell, and are still heavily injured and unconscious in the medicine garden. Qin Ming was again taken aback. Ah, could those bandits be high-tier Foundation establishment cultivators? They should be. Moreover, according to my guess, there must be an insider among those bandits in the Spirit Feather Sect, and their rank isn't low. The lean cultivator analyzed in detail. Otherwise, how could the bandits instantly locate the weak point of the defense array? Qin Ming continued to ask, how many bandits were there? According to the people from the Spirit Feather Sect, there were 5 of them, all wearing special concealing masks, making their identity and appearance unrecognizable. However, judging from their cultivation techniques, they seem to be evil cultivators. The lean middle-aged cultivator thought for a moment, and then said, it seems you and I are thinking along the same lines. Such daring and arrogant evil star bandits are likely those 5 cultivators sought by Golden Cloud Valley everywhere. Such evil stars should absolutely not be provoked. We should avoid them as far as possible. At that moment, the alarm spirit bell of Spirit Feather Sect kept ringing. Dong, dong, dong. A large number of elite disciples began to gather continuously, riding Dharma ships to pursue the culprits outside. Among the crowd, Qin Ming actually saw Jiang Kun, who was at this time beside a stern-faced elder of the Spirit Feather Sect, constantly being reprimanded, looking disheveled and embarrassed. Soon, under the elder's leadership, Jiang Kun also followed the group in pursuit of the culprits. TSK, TSK, TSK. Even the elites from the punishment hall have been deployed. Spirit Feather Sect is serious this time, the lean cultivator remarked as he watched the large number of cultivators flying in that direction. Friend, this place isn't suitable to stay for long. Who knows what else might happen next? With such an upheaval in Spirit Feather Sect, Elder Zhuang probably won't be in the mood to give lectures or accept disciples anymore. Might as well hurry back to Qingyao Market. Would you like to journey together? Qin Ming hesitated for a moment, then politely declined. Thank you for your kindness, but I plan to observe a bit more. If that's the case, I'll take my leave first, the lean cultivator said, then quickly departed on his Dharma ship. Qin Ming stood there pondering for a while, then took out the spiritual light shuttle from his storage pouch. He chose another direction and used his mana to fly towards Qingyang Market at the highest speed. 300 miles away from the Spirit Feather Sect, in a swampy area. Inside a subterranean cavern, 5 mass cultivators in black robes were hiding here. One bandit wearing a pighead mask held a 7-colored spirit lotus in his hands and said excitedly, "With this 7-colored heart-cleansing lotus, big bro, your skills can advance further." The other 2 cultivators in black robes, wearing monkey head and dog head masks, were also very excited. Exactly. Who would have thought we'd score an unexpected gain this time? Also plundering quite a few Tier 2 spiritual materials, and along with the spirit stones and spiritual materials we extorted from Golden Cloud Valley before, it's enough for us brothers to cultivate to the late-stage foundation establishment. We're rich now. Who knew old Zhuang's spirit medicine garden was so bountiful? By the way, should we deal with the person from Spirit Feather Sect who passed us the message? The tall figure in the center, wearing a Buddha mask, spoke calmly. After this matter concludes, none of you should show up again. Temporarily leave Yinhuang Marsh, find a place to cultivate, and let the rest be. Big brother, but what's the chances of old man Zhuang finding us here? The bandit with the pig head mask asked cautiously. Relax, I've set up a Tier 2 illusion array above. Ordinary foundation establishment cultivators can't see through it. The black-robed cultivator with the Buddha mask said nonchalantly as he took the 7-colored heart-cleansing lotus. As soon as he finished speaking, above the marsh, suddenly, a white escape light flashed by and stopped abruptly in the air. The person who arrived was none other than Elder Zhuang Shiran, his face distorted in anger as he gazed down at the marsh, shouting furiously, "You vile creatures! How dare you target me? Once I force you hiding rats out, I'll let you taste the agony of soul extraction and soul refining." After saying this, he immediately sent a communication talisman back to the sect, then began unleashing magic, bombarding the swamp wildly. In an instant, the power of Foundation Establishment stage spells descended. Boom, boom, boom. Inside the cavern. Big brother, how did old man Zhuang know we were hiding here? The bandit with the pig head mask asked anxiously. The black-robed cultivator with the Buddha mask showed no signs of panic upon hearing this. Instead, he took out the 7-colored heart-cleansing lotus and coldly said, "The problem must be here." It seems old man Zhuang had a backup plan and placed a special mark on it. However, even if he catches up, so what? I want to see what this Spirit Feather Sect's Foundation establishment strength is worth. You four go first, meet up at the usual place, I'll handle him. With that, the cultivator wearing the Buddha mask looked upwards, turned into a black escape light, and dashed towards the sky. The other side, Jiang Kun and his father, the current Spirit Feather Sect Punishment Hall Elder Jiang Minshan, were rushing out on a Dharma ship. Suddenly, their communication talismans simultaneously received a message from Elder Zhuang Shiran. Kuiner, I must go ahead first to support Elder Zhuang. You coordinate on the perimeter. These bandits are no ordinary foes, and you must not act recklessly. Do you understand? Jiang Minshan turned back, his face stern, and instructed him. Jiang Kun hurriedly responded affirmatively. After speaking, Jiang Minshan flew into the sky and disappeared into the horizon with incredible tumbling speed, heading towards the swamp where Elder Zhuang and the black-robe cultivators were battling. Subsequently, Jiang Kun, along with over a dozen elite members of the Punishment Hall on the Dharma ship, slowed down, began to be on alert, and contacted nearby Sect members. But he didn't know that 4 fierce bandits, wearing masks and black robes, were rushing towards his direction. Above the swamp, Elder Zhuang was casting magic to bombard the ground, trying to break the illusion array with brute force. At this moment, suddenly, a long, arc-shaped black blade shot up from the swamp below, slashing towards him. Elder Zhuang squinted in surprise, about to dodge, but at that moment, a chill ran down his spine. Overwhelming black blades came sweeping towards him from behind. There was no way to avoid it. He reversed his hand, casting a spell, and a square white barrier appeared in the sky, protecting him. Countless black blades struck the barrier, but failed to penetrate the defense, and vanished one after another. Elder Zhuang had already seen his adversary. A look of surprise flashed in his eyes, and he opened his mouth slowly. I thought it was someone formidable. Turns out it's just someone in the early-stage Foundation establishment. Oh, let's see how formidable you are through a real fight, said the black-robed cultivator wearing the Buddha mask, his voice flat. At this moment, a distance away, an escape light approached swiftly, instantly arriving in front of the two. This person was none other than the Punishment Hall Elder Jiang Minshan, who had come to support. Upon arrival, Jiang Minshan didn't bother with any pleasantries. He launched a powerful spell towards the adversary, even when faced with an attack from the 2 Foundation establishment stage cultivators. The black-robed cultivator wearing the Buddha mask remained unfazed, casting a peculiar spell with his white hands. Bang! A surge of overwhelming black flames erupted around him, and his aura rapidly ascended from the early-stage Foundation establishment to the mid-stage Foundation establishment. In an instant, the 3 Foundation establishment great powers were embroiled in a fierce battle above the swamp. Various powerful spells emerged in succession, colliding repeatedly with astonishing might. In midair, Qin Ming had a somber expression and, at the cost of much mana, rode the spiritual light shuttle at top speed towards Qingyang Market. What rotten luck! Of all times to rob, why now? Qin Ming felt extremely frustrated. He had painstakingly obtained a jade talisman, but hadn't even secured Elder Zhuang's recommendation before his plans went down the drain. All he wanted now was to quickly return to Qingyang Market. I'm not leaving until I cultivate to the Foundation establishment stage next time. It's too dangerous outside. Charging through a Tier 2 array like it's nothing. Who could withstand this? He made up his mind, fully controlling the spiritual light shuttle under his feet. In the blink of an eye, Qin Ming, advancing rapidly, almost collided with an extremely disheveled cultivator flying towards him. Has this one drunk too much? Not watching where they're going. Holy crap, Brother Jiang. He initially didn't pay attention, but upon a closer look, he was almost rendered speechless in shock. At this moment, Jiang Kun was an utter mess, with none of the usual glory of a Spirit Feather Sect core disciple. His body was covered in severe injuries, and even his entire left arm was missing. Jiang Kun was initially startled, but relaxed his tense expression upon seeing Qin Ming. Brother Jiang, what happened to you? Qin Ming feigned a look of great shock. Jiang Kun pulled out a pill from his chest and swallowed it, taking a breath before saying, So, it's fellow Taoist Qin. This is not the place to talk. I have pursuers on my tail. Let's return to the sect before we discuss further. I've already sent a communication to fellow sect members. Hearing this, Qin Ming paused. He didn't even need to ask to guess who could have reduced the mighty Qi cultivation perfection Jiang Kun to such a miserable state. Who else could it be but those bandits? Huh? Where are the others? Qin Ming suddenly asked. Jiang Kun paused at this question, responding coldly, Fellow Taoist Qin. What do you mean by this? Qin Ming chuckled. Nothing, just asking casually, "I'm not going back to Spirit Feather Sect. Brother Jiang, farewell." He cupped his hands towards the other party, making a gesture as if he wanted to leave. Jiang Kuan furrowed his brows tightly. A strong, ominous premonition suddenly arose in his heart, detecting something unusual. This Qin Ming, something's wrong. He was just about to steer the Dharma ship to leave. However, just when he was about to activate his mana, Qin Ming's figure suddenly vanished from where he stood. Jiang Kuan was shocked. He immediately crushed a high-grade spirit protection talisman, and a blue barrier instantly enveloped him. Boom! A violent collision sound rang out. Crack! Jiang Kuan looked up, both shocked and furious, staring ahead. He saw Qin Ming's entire aura surge, holding a long black saber, the blade burning with a flaming blade aura. This Jiang Kuan had repeatedly tried to put him to death, so naturally, it was taking advantage of his weakness to kill him. Under one slash, he almost shattered the barrier formed by the high-grade talisman. Jiang Kuan was instantly enlightened, feeling cold all over. Body refining cultivator. He didn't even need to be told. He already understood how Chanxiang and the others had died. Qin Ming's eyes showed a hint of coldness. Without wasting words with him, he directly pulled out 2 high-grade attack talismans with a backhand. 1 high-grade Thunder Arrow Talisman, 1 high-grade Blazing Sun Talisman. He directly threw them towards Jiang Kuan. In an instant, terrifying lightning flickered, mixed with fiery flame spells in the shape of firebirds, violently bombarding in Jiang Kuan's direction. Boom! The sound of violent explosions could be heard. Jiang Kuan staggered out from it, vomiting a mouthful of fresh blood. A light purple, profound pearl hovered beside him, emitting a purple tassel wrapping around his body. Surprisingly, it neutralized most of the spell's power. If he were in his prime, he naturally wouldn't fear Qin Ming, but now he was already at the end of his tether. He understood that continuing to fight was definitely not an opponent for Qin Ming. Jiang Kuan was extremely decisive, taking out a talisman radiating blue light, slapping it on himself, instantly turning into a stream of light escaping away. Qin Ming was indeed surprised, not expecting Jiang Kuan, at this near-death state, still having so many life-saving items in hand. He quickly activated the spiritual light shuttle to chase at full speed. Swoosh! It's known that the speed of the spiritual light shuttle at full speed is equivalent to a Foundation establishment stage's all-out flight. Within a blink, Qin Ming closed the distance with Jiang Kuan. Jiang Kuan sensed Qin Ming catching up from behind, instantly terrified out of his wits. Top-grade, flying, spiritual artifact. How could this kid have such a thing? After getting close to Jiang Kuan, Qin Ming's chi blood power exploded, directly slashing a flaming blade aura over. Jiang Kuan, caught off guard, raised a green longsword in his right hand, gritting his teeth to exhaust his last mana, and thrust out a sword technique. Sword aura flickered. Swoosh! Clang! The green longsword burst out with several sharp sword chi, just barely blocking Qin Ming's deadly strike. Not only that, one sword chi pierced through the flaming blade aura, striking the glazed treasure row condensed by Qin Ming's chi blood, then broke through the defense, slicing a cut on Qin Ming's arm. Top-grade spiritual artifact. Qin Ming was shocked and in pain. It was the first time since he had strengthened his physique that he was injured by a spiritual artifact. A trace of ruthlessness flashed in his eyes as he fully displayed the blood-burning blade technique, instantly enveloping Jiang Kuan's location in dense, flaming blade aura. The blade aura flickered, directly severing Jiang Kuan's left calf. Qin Ming leaped in front of him, stomping down on him. Cough! 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 Fellow Taoist Qin, listen to me. Jiang Kuan's face was covered in blood, his pupils suddenly enlarged. Swoosh! Qin Ming's eyes flashed with a cold gleam, ruthlessly slashing directly down at his neck. Jiang Kuan's head rolled to the side, maintaining an expression of shock and disbelief even in death. Qin Ming collected his green Dharma sword and storage pouch, then flicked a black spirit seed towards the corpse, casting Thorn Technique. Black vines instantly engulfed Jiang Kuan's corpse, and soon it turned into a dried-up corpse. Qin Ming picked up the blood pearl from the ground and cast a fireball technique on the corpse to destroy the evidence. He had just finished all this. Suddenly, he sensed from afar the approach of 4 cultivators with strong mana auras, rapidly closing in. Qin Ming's heart tightened, and he immediately flew off on the spiritual light shuttle, disappearing from the spot. After Qin Ming left, 4 figures of black-robed cultivators landed at the place where Qin Ming and another had just been fighting. Damn it, someone beat us to it. That kid was a fat target. We barely managed to get him seriously injured. Should we give chase? No time. Spirit Feather Sect's pursuers are almost here. Let's run first. Damn it. Don't let me find out who snatched my kill. As the 4 were discussing, not far away, a Dharma ship of the Spirit Feather Sect was rapidly approaching this way. Not good. Let's go. An elder on the Dharma ship from Spirit Feather Sect frowned as he watched the 4 fleeing. As he got closer and saw the corpse burn to ashes on the ground, he was shocked. He immediately abandoned the ship and flew in the direction of the 4. It took a detour of more than an hour. Qin Ming took a winding route and sneaked back to Qingyang Market. Returning to the cool, small residence, his anxious heart gradually relaxed. Whoosh! Qin Ming exhaled heavily. Yet, a hint of excitement lingered on his face. He had finally slain that bastard Jiang Kuan, bringing much peace henceforth. He entered the quiet chamber and began to tally up his gains. From Jiang Kuan's storage pouch, the item that excited him most was that top-grade Dharma sword. Qin Ming held it in his hand and toyed with it for a while, then easily erased the mana imprint Jiang Kuan had left on the sword thanks to his powerful spiritual sense. This top-grade Dharma sword was called Cyan Nether Sword. After refining it, it completely became Qin Ming's own possession. However, when Qin Ming tried to wield it with mana, he found out that the required mana was astonishingly high. Even with his Qi cultivation 5th layer, boasting twice the mana of his peers, he could only barely maintain it for less than half an incense stick's worth of time. He needed at least the late-stage Qi cultivation level to freely use this sword as he wished. In the storage pouch, along with this sword, there was a set of top-tier sword technique, Cyan Nether Sword Technique, which had 6 layers, suitable for cultivation all the way to late-stage foundation establishment. The first 3 layers correspond to Qi cultivation, and the latter 3 to foundation establishment. After all, Qin Ming had experienced this sword technique firsthand and knew its power well. Just one strike of Cyan Nether Sword, Qi could pierce his glazed treasure robe and strong physique. He put away the Cyan Nether Sword and sword technique, then continued to inspect Jiang Kuan's storage pouch. There were 50 middle-grade spirit stones and more than 3,000 low-grade spirit stones. All in all, it amounted to over 8,000 low-grade spirit stones. What surprised him the most was a tear-breaking pill for late-stage Qi cultivation, the bone marrow cleansing pill, the same one Jiang Kuan had intended to use to win him over at Mingzhen Tower. It ended up back in his hands. Besides, there were some healing and detoxifying pills, as well as pills to enhance mana, left, along with some spiritual materials and talismans. At the bottom of the storage pouch quietly lay a golden talisman, its spiritual energy having faded and became dim. Qin Ming took it out for a closer look, breaking into a cold sweat. It's actually a talisman treasure. Talisman treasures are crafted by foundation establishment or higher cultivators, reusable and capable of releasing spells with power equivalent to a full-strength foundation establishment strike. However, examining this talisman treasure, its spirituality was lost, clearly used several times by Jiang Kuan, rendering it useless. Qin Ming was deeply relieved, thinking how during those thugs' pursuit, Jiang Kuan had exhausted this talisman treasure. Otherwise, the outcome might have been different. He realized a great risk in murdering and looting, a risky venture indeed. It's better to peacefully cultivate the fields. But if it weren't for Jiang Kuan being gravely injured, Qin Ming would not have rashly acted. Such opportunities are rare. Who knows when the next one might come? Overall, it was quite fruitful. In Qingyang Market, Qin Ming did not dare blatantly use Jiang Kuan's items, waiting to do so when his strength increased and he could leave Spirit Feather Sect. Alternatively, he could discreetly deal them in the black market if possible. Qin Ming packed up his items. Clearing distractions, he took pills in the quiet chamber and entered a state of cultivation. The next day, Qin Ming woke up early. After a night's cultivation, he was full of essence, qi, and spirit. He first walked to a corner of the courtyard to check the withered blood poison vine. Over so much time, the 3 purple demon flowers still showed no change. Name, withered blood poison vine entry. Leaf of space-time, X5, maturity 1%. Qin Ming then took out the blood pearl left from Jiang Kuan's death and tossed it over. In no time, the black vine wrapped around it like a starving wolf, absorbing and digesting its essence. The black vine visibly grew thicker. Gradually, the 3 purple blossoming flower buds began to slightly unfold. Qin Ming continued observing closely and discovered a slight change in the entry. Name, withered blood poison vine entry. Leaf of space-time, X5, maturity 15%. Absorbing this blood pearl evidently increased the purple demon flower's maturity quite a bit. Indeed, essence, blood, and souls of Qi cultivation perfection, cultivators promote faster growth. Qin Ming pondered for a moment. Then he took out the nest of 4-winged frost bees from his spirit beast bag and hung the entire hive on the black vine. When the flowers bloom, these spirit bees will pollinate the purple demon flower. After doing all this, Qin Ming left for his spirit field. He hadn't checked on the spirit field for a few days and was a bit concerned. Arriving at the spirit field, looking at the thriving spirit plants, Qin Ming resembled a farmer, a smile curling at his lips. 3 acres of golden spirit rice had grown to half height, lushly green. 2 golden shimmering entries caught his eye. Name, golden spirit rice entry, weak dharma power, maturity 48%. Name, golden spirit rice entry, quality enhancement, maturity 43%. After tending to the golden spirit rice field, Qin Ming walked toward the 3-acre beast fong rice field, where the spirit rice ears were abundantly fruitful, just waiting for harvest at the year's end. In the 2-acre spirit medicine field, 12 demon flame grasses and 11 7-leaf yellowlings were also growing robustly, because this field had beast fong rice and high-tier spirit plants planted. Du Haifu, spirit field overseer of Spirit Feather Sect, and Stuart Hall's spirit plant record officer would frequently patrol with others here. As long as it's not bandits of the level attacking Elder Zhuang's Spirit Feather Sect medicine garden, the spirit field is quite safe. Qin Ming performed the high-level spirit rain technique for half the day in the spirit field. All spirit plants received spiritual rain, enhancing their growth. Even the 3-acre beast fong rice showed a trend toward higher quality improvement. All this despite never once using the quality enhancement entry. No way. Top-grade beast fong rice. After a whole day of toil in the field, Qin Ming returned to Qingyang Market. At 5:15 p.m., Qin Ming cooked a pot of top-grade blood locust rice and ate it, then entered his routine cultivation state. Currently, in cultivating the 100 Treasures glazed scripture, he was just a step away from reaching the 7th layer. However, he still needed to gather a lot of Qi blood. 2 days later, news of the ruthless rogue group's strong-armed robbery of Spirit Feather Sect's medicine garden quickly spread. After all, many loose cultivators witnessed it firsthand. No matter how big the paper, you can't wrap a fire. The result was that even Spirit Feather Sect couldn't capture those 5 cultivators. It said they deployed 2 Foundation establishment elders, yet couldn't defeat the black-robed cultivator wearing a Buddha mask. The black-robed cultivator practiced mysterious and sinister techniques. Elder Jiang Minshan of the Punishment Hall almost perished, being heavily injured. Elder Zhuang Shiran was slightly less wounded. The cultivators in Qingyang Market suddenly realized, whoa, so deceptive. Those bastards from Golden Cloud Valley expecting us to take the head of an evil star that 2 Foundation Establishment stage cultivators combined couldn't defeat just for 1 Foundation Establishment pill as a reward. Why don't they go themselves? Esper. Despicable. Those sects are detestable. After the storm of the Spirit Feather Sect's Spirit Garden raid, the 2 factions, Golden Cloud Valley and Spirit Feather Sect, jointly issued a higher-level bounty. Any cultivator who can provide the whereabouts of these bandits will receive a handsome reward. It seems they won't stop until the end. A month later, Qin Ming was applying the high-level Spirit Rain technique, watering the spirit field. A communication talisman on him stirred. Fellow Taoist Qin, the small gathering we agreed upon earlier will take place. The time is set for tomorrow. The Feng brothers have returned from their demon beast hunt. Fellow Taoist Qin, you can prepare some items, and at that time, we can exchange and share a thing or two. The message was sent by Master Yan, his neighbor from the courtyard next door. Qin Ming replied, and then pondered what to bring for the exchange the next day. The next day, Qin Ming accepted the invitation and attended the gathering. When he entered Master Yan's courtyard, the cultivators from the other courtyards were already present. Come, everyone, let me introduce you. This is fellow Taoist Qin Ming from the neighboring courtyard, a middle-grade spirit plant master. Upon entering, Master Yan warmly introduced Qin Ming to the cultivators present. Qin Ming went around to greet them. The cultivation levels of the Feng brothers were both at the Qi cultivation 8th layer. The bald elder brother was named Feng Yuan, and the other was a scar-faced strong man named Feng Fan. Since both of them were often out hunting demon beasts, they had a very rugged demeanor. Their words and actions were very bold and casual. Fellow Taoist Huang from Ding Courtyard, whose real name was Huang Shishan, was in his 40s. Due to his long association with the furnace, his skin was bronze-colored. He had a cultivation level of Qi cultivation 9th layer and served as the chief refiner at the refining hall in the market. As a high-grade refiner, Huang Shishan naturally became the main attraction of the gathering. The few people around him continuously mingled and built rapport. After all, it's always beneficial to have a good relationship with such a master refiner when custom magical artifacts are needed. Indeed, not to hide from you, my refining orders are full until the end of next year. However, if any of the fellow Taoists present have special circumstances, I can expedite the process, offering a 10% discount on the prices. Huang Shishan sat on a rattan chair, looking slightly arrogant. Maintaining a high stance, he said leisurely. Upon hearing this, the Feng brothers immediately considered asking him to refine magical artifacts. After all, as they often hunted demon beasts, they surely had quite a number of material from such beasts ready for refining. Their attitude towards Huang Shishan became even more courteous. They respectfully called him Master Huang, appearing particularly affable. The last member from Ding Courtyard was fellow Taoist Lin, named Lin Zixiao, who had an impressive aura and was about 20 years old, likely only 4 or 5 years older than Qin Ming. He was a strikingly handsome man. With a cold face, his long hair was casually tied at the back with a thin string. Even more impressive, he was a rare middle-grade array master. Lin Zixiao's personality was quite easygoing, smiling as he greeted everyone present. The cultivators sat on rattan chairs in the courtyard, drinking tea and conversing. Even with the 100 skills of cultivation being present, Qin Ming, as a middle-grade spirit plant master, was somewhat outshone by those present, especially since he served as a spirit farmer affiliated with the Spirit Feather Sect. Also, his mana cultivation was only at Qi cultivation 5th layer. The group treated Qin Ming indifferently, neither deliberately engaging with him nor avoiding him. After chatting for an hour, the exchange meeting officially began. With a smile on his face, Master Yan said, "Since it's an exchange meeting proposed by me, I'll go first." He then took out 2 bottles of pills and introduced them. These 2 bottles of pills, one is called Genshua pill, a healing saint medicine. As long as the injury isn't fatal, it can rejuvenate flesh and blood. The other bottle contains enhancement spirit pills for the middle and late stages, the spirit gathering pill. Fellow Taoists, If you have sufficient spirit stones or items of equivalent value, they could be exchanged. Qin Ming looked curiously at the bottle of Gunshua pill. It was the first time he had seen such a healing spirit pill. The pill is recorded in the pill book and is one of the more difficult middle-grade pills to refine. As for the bottle of spirit-gathering pills, they were of ordinary quality. However, it still proved that Master Yan had considerable achievement in alchemy, as he could refine some of the most challenging spirit pills among middle-grade spirit pills. Soon, the 2 bottles of spirit pills were purchased with spirit stones by the Feng brothers and collected into their pouches. Next, it was the Feng brothers' turn to showcase their exchange items. Elder Brother Feng Yuan retrieved a demon pill and a pair of claws from his storage pouch, placing them on the table, and introduced, "This is the demon pill and claws of a late-stage Tier 1 demon beast, the profound water crocodile. My brother and I put in a lot of effort to kill it. If any fellow Taoist has good items, feel free to show them. If it's suitable, you can take it." After saying this, he waited to see the response from everyone. "I have a middle-grade magical artifact, the demon binding rope. Would you agree to the exchange?" Huang Shishan seemed interested in these items. Feng Yuan and Feng Fan exchanged a look and hesitated a bit before saying, "Master Huang, could you add a little more? After all, these are materials from a late-stage Tier 1 demon beast, suitable for refining high-grade magical artifacts. That's my bottom line." Having said that, Huang Shishan didn't say more, his face showing a bit of displeasure. Hearing this, the Feng brothers felt a bit awkward. At this point, Lin Zixiao retrieved an array from his storage pouch, smiled, and said, "I have an array set, the little fire array, middle-grade attack array. Can I exchange it for fellow Taoist Feng's 2 spiritual materials?" "It's the little fire array." The Feng brothers were overjoyed and quickly nodded in agreement. Even the high-grade refiner Huang Shishan's expression changed slightly, with surprise flashing in his eyes. Qin Ming also roughly knew about the little fire array, said to be the sharpest attack array among middle-grade arrays, and a range attack array at that, with immense power. Making such an array requires the array master to have extremely high proficiency in array knowledge. I didn't expect fellow Taoist Lin could even refine the little fire array. Impressive. Master Yan gave a thumbs up, expressing admiration. Other cultivators present also agreed, glancing at Lin Zixiao with newfound respect. Lin Zixiao smiled and humbly said, "It's just a small trick, nothing to boast about." The Feng brothers happily took the array disc of the little fire array from Lin Zixiao's hand, completing the transaction with him. The cultivators present were even more curious and expectant about what other items Lin Zixiao would present next for exchange. After collecting the demon beast materials, Lin Zixiao calmly took out a palm-sized chessboard from his storage pouch, filled densely with black and white chess pieces. As soon as it appeared, everyone was somewhat puzzled. All had expressions of confusion. Qin Ming also curiously observed this chessboard, pondered for a while, and indeed couldn't identify it. Among everyone, only the high-grade refiner Huang Shishan showed a thoughtful expression. After a long while, his eyes suddenly widened, and incredulously he spoke, Could this be the long-lost, inverted yin-yang illusion array?" Huang Shishan clearly recognized this array. "Fellow Taoist Lin, what item do you want in exchange for this array?" he asked directly. Lin Zixiao smiled faintly. "Anything of equivalent value or spirit stones will do. A set of middle-grade profound yin mother and child blades. Would you consider this for exchange?" Having said this, Huang Shishan patted his storage pouch and took out 7 flying blades that glimmered with a pale red glow, clearly appearing to be of exceptional quality. A complete set of middle-grade spiritual artifacts? What kind of array is this, enough to be exchanged with a set of middle-grade spiritual artifacts? The other cultivators grew increasingly intrigued as they watched. Finally, Master Yan could no longer restrain himself and took the lead in asking, "Fellow Taoist Lin, what kind of array do you have in your possession, and what is its function? Please tell us more." "This is the yin-yang inversion illusion array, a set of middle-grade compound array. It is an illusion array on the outside and conceals a killing array inside. It's a relatively niche array and almost unique in the market. Lin Zixiao briefly introduced, and a strong desire arose in everyone's eyes. It turned out to be a compound array. Qin Ming was also greatly interested, but he truly couldn't find anything in his storage pouch worth exchanging. May I ask fellow Taoist Lin, how much is this array worth in spirit stones? Qin Ming asked bluntly. Lin Zixiao replied calmly, it requires at least 800 spirit stones. Qin Ming glanced at Huang Xishan's set of middle-grade spiritual artifacts, which must also be quite valuable. I offer 1,200 spirit stones. While Qin Ming was considering, the Feng brothers spoke up again, making Huang Xishan's expression turn uglier. I offer 1,300 spirit stones. Master Yan also joined in the bidding. For a time, this yin-yang inversion illusion array became the coveted desire of all present. The exchange meeting turned into an auction. Apart from this set of middle-grade spiritual artifacts, I'll add 500 spirit stones. Huang Xishan seemed determined to obtain this array. He raised the price to the point of overvaluation. After all, it's just a middle-grade array. Further bidding would exceed 2,000 spirit stones. Everyone exchanged glances and fell into silence. No further bids were made. Lin Zixiao was beaming with satisfaction, seemingly delighted by such a scene. Just when everyone thought this array would belong to the high-grade refiner Huang Xishan, a faint voice was heard. I offer 2,000 spirit stones. All turned to look at the bid, surprisingly made by the Qi Cultivation 5th layer spirit farmer, fellow Taoist Qin. He had been sitting there quietly all along, without a word. Yet his bid instantly outstripped all others. This price was enough to buy a regular high-grade array. But Qin Ming had thought it through seriously. This array was of great use to him. If he arranged in it the thorn technique using the withered blood poison vine spirit seed, it would be comparable to a triple compound array. The array's power would greatly enhance again, rivaling even high-grade arrays. This was why he was willing to bid high. With his finalizing bid, no one else continued to bid. Everyone was astonished, not expecting this seemingly ordinary Qi Cultivation 5th layer spirit plant master to be so wealthy. Ultimately, Lin Zixiao's middle-grade yin-yang inversion illusion array was acquired by Qin Ming. Fellow Taoist Qin, it's your turn. Qin Ming smiled, took out a bag of spirit rice from his storage pouch, and said, here are 50 pounds of beast fong rice, exchangeable for equivalent spirit stones and items. Though the price of spirit rice had dropped, rare spirit rice like beast fong rice was still highly sought after. Oh, it turns out to be beast fong rice. Fellow Taoist Qin indeed is a middle-grade spirit plant master. Even such rare spirit rice is available. Master Yan exclaimed with surprise, I can offer 100 spirit stones. I offer 140 spirit stones. Afterward, the exchange meeting concluded. Everyone returned to their homes. Qin Ming also considered it a fruitful experience. In the days following, Qin Ming began to cultivate diligently, rarely appearing in Qingyang Market. Time swiftly passed. Another year went by. Qin Ming spent his time alternating between tedious cultivation and farming. The surrounding area of Qingyang Market had also somewhat stabilized. Over the past year, Golden Cloud Valley and the Spirit Feather Sect had launched a massive crackdown on the bandits, causing significant repercussions for the local tribulation cultivators. No one dared to commit crimes during such times. The golden spirit rice in Qin Ming's spirit field had already seen 2 harvests. Besides gaining a weak Dharma power entry and a quality enhancement entry from the first harvest. From the second and third seasons of golden spirit rice, Qin Ming also obtained 3 ripening entries and 2 weak Dharma power entries. Currently, the entries left in Qin Ming's Sea of Consciousness are ripening X5, regenerative spirit seed X2, quality enhancement X1, weak Dharma power X3. Under Qin Ming's diligent care, 3 acres of beast fong rice had all transformed into top-grade beast fong rice, interlaced with red and white. Their value was immeasurable. Even the usually unperturbed steward, Gu, personally came to Qin Ming's spirit field to inspect the spirit rice, lavishing him with praise. Du Haifu, grinning broadly, chimed in. Fellow Taoist Qin, the beast fong rice you've grown is of the top-grade quality. Even the spirit plant elder of the sect has taken notice. The sect has decided to waive an additional 10% of your spirit rice tax. Henceforth, fellow Taoist Qin only needs to pay 35% tax on your spirit rice. Steward Gu, usually strict and serious, managed to squeeze out a faint smile, saying, Little Qin, could you part with some of the remaining top-grade beast fong rice and sell it to this old man? I'm willing to buy at market price. I would also like to buy some, fellow Taoist Qin, if you could spare it, Du Haifu quickly added. Qin Ming replied awkwardly, I've already signed an agreement with Pavilion Master Gu of the Jushuan Pavilion. If there's any left over, I can sell some of it. Hearing it involved a transaction with Pavilion Master Gu, they reluctantly gave up. Fellow Taoist Qin, I also want to congratulate you. The high-grade demon flame grass and top-grade spirit plant 7-leaf yellow ling in your 2 acres of medicine fields have all matured. The steward responsible for documenting has already reported it. Fellow Taoist Qin is now just 1 step away from becoming a high-grade spirit plant master. I heard this time it will be the elders from the inner sect conducting the assessment. Du Haifu beamed with compliments. Qin Ming becoming a high-grade spirit plant master was almost a certainty. His status would surely rise from now on. Even Steward Gu might have to speak to him as equals. Because of this, even with an intense desire for the top-grade beast fong rice, Steward Gu and Du Haifu dared not exploit Qin Ming any further. The sect had tasked them with persuading Qin Ming to plant more beast fong rice in the future. Come, fellow Taoist Qin, you rest. I'll handle this hard work. Just as Qin Ming was about to harvest 3 acres of beast fong rice, Du Haifu snatched the spiritual scythe from his hand and eagerly began harvesting. A little over half a day later, Du Haifu was perspiring heavily. The spiritual stalks of top-grade beast fong rice were incredibly tough, requiring some mana to harvest. He finished harvesting all the beast fong rice. Next came the weighing. Du Haifu wiped the sweat from his forehead and cheerfully took out the Great Dipper spiritual artifact to weigh them. In total, 12 stone and 80 pounds of top-grade beast fong rice were harvested. 35% of the spirit rice tax needs to be paid, which is 448 pounds. After paying the spirit rice tax, Qin Ming still had a hefty 832 pounds of top-grade beast fong rice left. Qin Ming secretly thought, if Gu Qingzhao knew, he'd probably jump for joy. After Steward Gu and Du Haifu left with the Spirit Feather Sect personnel, Qin Ming sent a communication talisman to Su Yuqing, asking him to harvest the spirit grass. 3 incense sticks later, Su Yuqing arrived late. Brother Su, why did you take so long today? Su Yuqing smiled. Oh, I was just packing up a few things. Hearing this, Qin Ming furrowed his brows and asked, Brother Su, are you really planning to leave the Yunzhou wilderness? Yes, that's right. Actually, I was waiting for your spirit grass to mature. Otherwise, I would have left a while ago. Su Yuqing paused, nodded, and spoke. Hearing this, Qin Ming said no more. Su Yuqing walked to the spirit medicine field, and upon seeing the scene before him, displayed a look of great surprise. He harvested all the spirit grass and handed a sprig of demon flame grass and a 7-pointed leaf yellow ling to Qin Ming. This is your share. Qin Ming accepted the spirit grass and placed them neatly into 2 jade boxes. Brother Qin, there's no banquet that doesn't eventually disperse. Let's part ways here, but I believe we'll meet again someday. I'm not going back to the shanty town. I'll be leaving through the teleportation array in Qingyang Market soon. Su Yuqing glanced at Qin Ming and said with a smile, but before I leave, you have to fulfill the promise you made to me earlier. Qin Ming was taken aback by the words. Brother Su, as long as I can do it, I will agree to it. Seeing Qin Ming agree so readily, Su Yuqing revealed a playful smile and took out 5 fruit seeds from his storage pouch, handing them to him. Then he said, help me plant this. Once the fruit matures, I'll only take 3. The rest will be yours. I believe this shouldn't be too difficult for Brother Qin, right? Qin Ming received the pearl-sized seeds and observed them carefully. After pondering for a while, he suddenly said, "Aren't these the spirit seeds of the Tier 2 spirit plant, divine essence fruit?" Unexpectedly, Su Yuqing had managed to obtain even spirit seeds of a Tier 2 spirit plant. Indeed, Brother Qin truly deserves the title of a naturally gifted spirit plant master, recognizing the spirit plant from a mere glance at the seeds. Su Yuqing nodded in agreement. Qin Ming asked in confusion, "Brother Su, once you leave, how can I get the spirit fruit to you?" "You can entrust fellow Taoist Gu of Mirror Snow Pavilion to deliver it on your behalf, or if you get the chance, come find me in the Great Jin Immortal Dynasty." With that, Su Yuqing handed him a map jade slip. Qin Ming accepted the jade slip, nodded, and agreed to it. To him, planting Tier 2 spirit plants wasn't too daunting of a task now. "Brother Qin, what are your plans for the future? With your talents, staying here would truly be a waste." Su Yuqing suddenly inquired. Qin Ming contemplated briefly and replied, "I plan to first advance to a Tier 2 spirit plant master and then leave the labor duties of the Spirit Feather Sect. The rest, I'll see afterward. I also plan to find a way regarding Foundation establishment, or I won't be able to break through the tier of a Tier 2 alchemist." Su Yuqing nodded. Foundation establishment? A hint of envy welled up in Qin Ming's heart. Qin Ming curiously asked, "Is Foundation establishment related to breaking through as a Tier 2 alchemist?" "Of course it is related. To refine Tier 2 pills, one must use the innate true flame of the Foundation establishment stage," Su Yuqing explained succinctly. Qin Ming came to a sudden realization. Immediately, Qin Ming took out a bag of 100 pounds of top-grade beast fong rice from his storage pouch and handed it to Su Yuqing. "Brother Su, as we part ways, I have nothing much to offer, but please accept this token of my thoughts." Su Yuqing opened the bag and was immediately enveloped by a rich spiritual aura. Top-grade beast fong rice. Su Yuqing picked up a handful of spirit rice and gently rubbed it, delighted. "To think Brother Qin would offer such a generous gift, I humbly accept it." Qin Ming chuckled. Compared to the alchemical knowledge imparted by the other party, this amount of spirit rice was insignificant. "All right then, it's getting late. No need to stand on ceremony. I've already informed the steward hall about it. You could take over my shantytown residence anytime. Brother Qin, till we meet again. I hope the next time we meet, you'll have become a Tier 2 spirit plant master. Brother Su, may the immortal Tao be forever green." Saying this, Su Yuqing cupped his hands to Qin Ming in farewell before departing. Qin Ming watched Su Yuqing leave from afar until his figure disappeared. He bid farewell to someone who was both a teacher and a friend to him. Qingyang Market. Qin Ming once again arrived at Jushuan Pavilion. Shopkeeper Liao had long known that today was the day the spirit rice would be harvested. He specially donned a very festive red brocade robe, waiting eagerly at the shop's entrance, looking left and right. When he saw Qin Ming approaching, his face immediately lit up with a warm smile, and he hurried to greet him. "Fellow Taoist Qin, you finally arrived." Qin Ming smiled slightly. "The spirit rice just matured, so I came right away, especially since I initially signed a contract with your pavilion." Good. Huh. "Fellow Taoist Qin, please follow me. Our pavilion master personally wants to host you." Shopkeeper Liao greeted. Afterward, Qin Ming followed Shopkeeper Liao's steps to a private room on the 7th floor of Jushuan Pavilion. Gu Qingzhao walked out of the private room, her eyes smiling like stars. "Congratulations to fellow Taoist Qin for further enhancing your spirit plant skills." Qin Ming chuckled. "It's still early. Once the transaction is complete, I have to head to the steward hall for the promotion assessment. With fellow Taoist Qin's talents, the promotion assessment should hardly trouble you, right?" Gu Qingzhao rarely displayed a smile. "Come, fellow Taoist Qin, let me offer you some of the newly acquired high-tier spirit mist tea." This time, Shopkeeper Liao was in no rush to leave, perhaps wanting to witness what the premium beast fong rice looked like. He personally brewed and poured tea for the two. After exchanging a few pleasantries, Qin Ming understood that Gu Qingzhao was also eager, So he took out the top-grade beast fong rice, placing them in the center of the room with as many as 6 large bags. Gu Qingzhao's beautiful eyes lit up with joy. She stood up and opened one of the bags of spirit rice. Immediately, a rich spirit charm graced her cheeks, and the dense spiritual aura was refreshing. She mumbled in amazement, "This isn't premium beast fong rice, but rather top-grade beast fong rice." Shopkeeper Liao also approached for a closer look, rendered speechless in astonishment. Quite a while later, Qin Ming spoke. "Altogether, it's 600 pounds. I kept a little over 100 pounds for myself. Fellow Taoist Gu, please inspect it." Shopkeeper Liao finally snapped out of his daze, took out a great dipper spiritual artifact, and weighed everything, excitedly reporting to Gu Qingzhao, "Pavilion Master, indeed, it's 600 pounds. A full 600 pounds of top-grade beast fong rice." Gradually, Gu Qingzhao's surprise turned to delight. She smiled warmly at Qin Ming, saying, "I never expected fellow Taoist Qin to produce top-grade beast fong rice. Truly a boon for our pavilion. Here's what we'll do. Top-grade beast fong rice is extremely rare, hardly seen on the market. I'll add more spirit stones for your batch. We can purchase this batch of top-grade beast fong rice at 20 spirit stones per pound." Qin Ming had no objections upon hearing this and readily nodded in agreement. Gu Qingzhao's expression turned joyous, for with this batch of top-grade beast fong rice, her branch of the Mirror Snow Pavilion might make a name for itself in the Yunzi wilderness. Here is 12,000 spirit stones. Fellow Taoist Qin, please count them. Qin Ming softly coughed. Receiving such a large sum all at once was truly exhilarating. It was the fruit of his 2 years of diligent planting, having cast the high-level spirit rain technique countless times. However, he couldn't lose composure here. Appearing calm and light-hearted, he merely glanced before saying softly, "I trust fellow Taoist Gu's word." He quickly verified with his spiritual sense, and after confirming no errors, he put the spirit stones into his storage pouch. Gu Qingzhao's beautiful eyes sparkled more brightly as she handed a purple jade token to Qin Ming, saying, "This is a high-level VIP token from our Mirror Snow Pavilion, which fellow Taoist Qin is now eligible to possess." Qin Ming accepted the purple jade token and asked in puzzlement, "What use does this token have?" At this time, shopkeeper Liao stepped forward to explain, "Fellow Taoist Qin, you might not know that this yellow tear snow token is only offered to cultivators recognized by our pavilion. With this token, you can prioritize sourcing resources from our pavilion and even access confidential information from the Cultivation Realm. Moreover, it offers a 20% discount." Qin Ming hadn't anticipated that this token would have such significant advantages and immediately put it away, saying to Gu Qingzhao, "Thank you very much, fellow Taoist Gu. I will respectfully accept it." After the transaction concluded, I must head to the Steward Hall to participate in the high-grade Spirit Plant Master's promotion assessment. Fellow Taoists, I shall take my leave first. Qin Ming bid farewell. Gu Qingzhao smiled gently. Witnessing fellow Taoist Qin rise to a high-grade Spirit Plant Master is such a grand event. I would also like to witness it, so I'll accompany you. Exactly, high-grade Spirit Plant Masters are extremely rare. I wish to see it for myself as well. Shopkeeper Liao chimed in. Qin Ming was slightly taken aback and smiled. In that case, let's go together. 1 incense sticks later. Accompanied by Gu Qingzhao, Qin Ming came to the Steward Hall of Qingyang Market. Pavilion Master Gu, fellow Taoist Qin, please wait a moment. Several elders are discussing matters inside. The steward on duty saw that even Gu Qingzhao had personally come along and hurriedly went inside to report. The interior of the Steward Hall. 4 inner sect elders of the Spirit Feather Sect were discussing. Unexpectedly, this young man already has such a high attainment in the way of spirit plants. His talent is exceptional. Indeed, he has even successfully cultivated top-grade beast fong rice, which is much better than the incompetent disciples we have. It's a pity this young man is not a disciple of the Spirit Feather Sect, but has been enlisted from a cultivation clan for corvée labor. I intend to take him as my closed-door disciple and exempt him from his labor. For such fine material, I am tempted too, but I'm afraid he won't agree. As you know, Lao Zhuang, these spirit farmers have quite a resistance to sections. What if he just wants to get a recommendation quota and does not intend to join us? You mean this young man wants to advance to a Tier 2 spirit plant master and then leave our sect control? Exactly. Given his talent, it's possible he could reach this step. What do the elders think? First, let's probe his intentions. If he is unwilling to join us, then increase the difficulty of the assessment. Being a middle-grade spirit plant master for a lifetime and cultivating spirit rice for us is not bad either. Shortly after, an old man in a gray Taoist robe came out of the inner hall with white hair and youthful features, exuding mana fluctuations of the foundation establishment stage. It was none other than Elder Zhuang Shiran of the Inner Sect. Pavilion Master Gu, what brings you here today? Please come inside quickly. Gu Qingzhao's voice was as clear as a spring. I came this time to witness fellow Taoist Qin's promotion to high-grade spirit plant master. Haha, that's not easy. The assessment for high-grade spirit plant master is quite challenging. Elder Zhuang Shiran smiled while stroking his beard. Then he turned to Qin Ming and said, Young Master Qin, a year has passed, and unexpectedly, I am the examiner this time. Truly, fate is whimsical. Qin Ming didn't expect Elder Zhuang to be the chief examiner, and he quickly bowed in respect. Elder Zhuang, no need for formalities, just follow me. After saying this, Elder Zhuang led Qin Ming to a courtyard at the very back of the steward hall. Suddenly, Elder Zhuang stopped and then asked Qin Ming kindly, Qin Ming, I intend to take you as my closed-door disciple. Would you be willing? Being asked this, Qin Ming paused, contemplating for a long while. He earnestly replied, Thank you, Elder Zhuang, for your kindness, but I must decline your offer this time. In the past, if Elder Zhuang had asked him this question, he would have eagerly knelt down to become his disciple. But now, with a golden finger at hand, advancing to a Tier 2 spirit plant master is just a matter of time, and even Tier 3 is a possibility. Qin Ming had already planned, once he left Spirit Feather Sect, to find a mountain rich in spiritual qi and farm peacefully by himself, avoiding the sect's disputes. What he needed was just a recommendation for the planned Illusion Realms trial, not to become a disciple. Since you are resolute, I certainly won't force you. Elder Zhuang Shiran replied indifferently, his face showing no emotion. The two walked inside the courtyard. Elder Zhuang led Qin Ming to a small patch of spirit medicine field. In this field, various spirit plants were cultivated. Elder Zhuang led him to a small spirit tree. Qin Ming looked up and saw that the spirit tree was already dying. Its leaves were all yellow and wilted, with the trunk starting to dry at several places. The vitality was clearly ebbing away. This is the content of the assessment. Within half a month, regardless of the method, you revive this dying high-grade spirit plant golden sun tree. And during this half a month, you are confined to this courtyard. If you need items or materials, you may ask the steward hall to purchase them. If the spirit tree is revived after the stipulated time, or if it cannot be revived, the assessment is considered a failure. Is there anything unclear to you? Qin Ming replied, Everything is clear. Do you think this assessment is too difficult? Elder Zhuang asked again. Qin Ming thought to himself that while this was extremely challenging for others, for him, it was almost effortless. As far as he knew, this high-grade spirit plant golden sun tree was exceedingly delicate, with even slightly imperfect growth conditions or spiritual qi leading to its demise. The most troublesome aspect was that once this tree showed signs of decline, it was nearly impossible to revive. It was almost irreversible. After explaining everything, Elder Zhuang stormed out with a stern face. Now, only Qin Ming was left alone. To impose such a daunting challenge, it was almost certain that Elder Zhuang was unhappy with Qin Ming's earlier response. Still half a month to go. No rush, I'll start in 10 days or so. Meanwhile, Elder Zhuang returned to the inner hall. The other elders immediately inquired, Lao Zhuang, how did it go? Sai, as expected, this young man's talent in spirit plants is high, yet his mind is not set on the sect. So, what challenge did you set for him this assessment, Lao Zhuang? Revive the Golden Sun Tree. With this challenge, he's unlikely to pass the assessment. The welcoming guest room of the Steward Hall. Guqing Zhao and shopkeeper Liao were sipping tea while waiting and saw Elder Zhuang coming in. She stood up and asked, "What is the assessment topic for high-grade spirit plant master?" Elder Zhuang smiled and said, "High-grade spirit plant masters are very rare, and the assessment topic varies each year. This year, the topic for young Qin is reviving the Golden Sun Tree, which is not easy. There's still half a month. Pavilion Master doesn't have to guard here every day. When the result is out, I'll send someone to inform you." Upon hearing this, Guqing Zhao's eyes flashed a hint of surprise, and her eyebrows slightly furrowed. "It's the Golden Sun Tree. Is the assessment difficulty for high-grade spirit plant masters that high?" She began to worry about whether Qin Ming could pass this challenge. In the medicine field, unconcerned, Qin Ming took a spirit-gathering pill and began meditating and cultivating. 3 days later, Elder Zhuang came in to check the progress, seeing the Golden Sun Tree almost dead, while Qin Ming appeared at a loss. He couldn't help but sigh and shook his head. On the 5th day, Qin Ming asked the Steward Hall to purchase a pile of miscellaneous spiritual materials and items. Elder Zhuang was puzzled, unclear about Qin Ming's purpose. But surprisingly, Qin Ming started tinkering with the Golden Sun Tree, though still no sign of recovery. On the 10th day, with half a month nearly up, Qin Ming thought it was about time and focused his intent on the regenerative spirit seed entry. The instant he used the entry, a purple spore suddenly grew at the root of the dying Golden Sun Tree, enveloping it. Soon, the purple spore was quickly absorbed by the Golden Sun Tree and vanished. The previously sickly Golden Sun Tree gradually began to regain vitality at this moment. Elder Zhuang came to check, as usual. Upon seeing the dying Golden Sun Tree suddenly grow fresh green leaves, his face was filled with disbelief. How is it alive? Half an incense sticks later, Qin Ming and Elder Zhuang walked out from the inner courtyard. As soon as he came out, he saw that Guqing Zhao and shopkeeper Liao were still there. Guqing Zhao thought he came out 5 days early due to failing the assessment, since reviving the Golden Sun Tree was indeed challenging. Qin Ming walked over to greet. "Fellow Taoist Gu, why are you still here?" "Nothing really, just had some free time today, came to see." Guqing Zhao's eyes smiled. She hesitated and then asked fellow Taoist Qin, "What was the result of this promotion assessment?" Shopkeeper Liao beside her showed a look of curiosity. Before Qin Ming could answer, Elder Zhuang Shiran spoke first. "Friend Qin has passed the assessment and advanced to high-grade spirit plant master. Congratulations on your promotion to high-grade spirit plant master, fellow Taoist Qin." Guqing Zhao, hearing this, was first taken aback. Then a joyful smile spread across her red lips as she sincerely congratulated him. Shopkeeper Liao, standing to the side, also expressed his excitement. "Congratulations on breaking through to high-grade spirit plant master, fellow Taoist Qin. You are one step closer on the path of immortal Tao." Qin Ming's achievement of becoming a high-grade spirit plant master brought undeniable benefits to Jushuan Pavilion. After all, Qin Ming was currently in a tight partnership with Jushuan Pavilion. Shopkeeper Liao couldn't help but sigh deeply. He recalled how, back in the day, the young man standing before him had to sneak in through the back door just to sell spirit rice. Now, he had become a cultivator with whom even he wanted to forge stronger ties. It should be noted that a high-grade spirit plant master is a rare existence among loose cultivators. Even within a sect, their status is second only to certain inner sect elders and core disciples. Moreover, once one becomes a high-grade spirit plant master, they're qualified to individually apply for the lease of spirit fields on Tier 2 spirit veins. After all, to cultivate high-tier spirit plants in the future, the spiritual chi from Tier 1 spirit veins is no longer sufficient. Qin Ming was also in a good mood. "Thank you both for waiting here. I'll treat you to a drink at Jushuan Pavilion later." Afterward, under the witness of several elders and Guqing Zhao, Qin Ming lit up the third leaf on his Spirit Plant Master identity token. He officially became a high-grade Spirit Plant Master. Qin Ming also decided to continue renting the house in the slum area from Su Yuqing. After taking care of matters, Qin Ming bid farewell to Elder Zhuang and left the steward hall. The four elders sat in the inner hall, looking at each other. No, Lao Zhuang, how did that kid manage this? You didn't go easy on him, did you? Nonsense. I never saw this coming. So how do we proceed? Let fate decide, seeing that Tier 2 spirit plants aren't easy to cultivate. You all should understand this well. If the kid finds another way to get a spot and passes the trial of the plant illusion realm, then I have no complaints. Jushuan Pavilion. Qin Ming and Ge Qingzhao had just arrived at the shop entrance. They bumped into an old acquaintance. It was none other than Master Yan, Qin's neighbor. Oh, fellow Taoist Qin, long time no see. Are you off to Jushuan Pavilion for a drink? Master Yan spotted Qin Ming from afar and walked over to greet him. As he approached, he noticed that Ge Qingzhao was with Qin Ming and was slightly surprised. He knew very well that Ge Qingzhao had an extraordinary background. Master Yan often sold and purchased spiritual materials needed for refining pills at Jushuan Pavilion. Naturally, he recognized the force behind it. He quickly greeted Ge Qingzhao. Pavilion Master Ge, so you know fellow Taoist Qin? Ge Qingzhao nodded slightly. Indeed, fellow Taoist Qin is an honored guest of our pavilion. Today, he has just been promoted to high-grade Spirit Plant Master. Fellow Taoist Yan, since chance has brought us together, why not come upstairs for a drink? Qin Ming greeted Master Yan and invited him. Master Yan's mind buzzed. He was stunned for a moment. What? Hey, high-grade Spirit Plant Master. So soon. Afterward, shopkeeper Liao instructed someone to prepare a sumptuous feast in the private room. At the dining table, Master Yan blushed, took out an ancient-looking wooden box from his storage pouch, and handed it to Qin Ming. Today marks fellow Taoist Qin's advancement to high-grade Spirit Plant Master, a small token of appreciation. Qin Ming could not refuse the kind gesture. He accepted the wooden box and thanked him. Thank you, Master Yan. With that, Master Yan toasted Qin Ming. I've sent a communication talisman to inform the other neighbors. They should be arriving soon. Given that today is a great day for fellow Taoist Qin's promotion to high-grade Spirit Plant Master, we ought to celebrate together. Qin Ming was taken aback, not expecting Master Yan to invite the others as well. Next to him, Ge Qingzhao suddenly asked, fellow Taoist Qin, since that's the case, why not invite Master Su as well? Oh, fellow Taoist Ge, you may not know, but Brother Su left the Yunzi wilderness some time ago. Qin Ming explained. Ge Qingzhao's eyes flashed with a hint of regret. I didn't expect Master Su to have left. Beside them, Master Yan held his wine cup, utterly baffled. You know Master Su? More than that, fellow Taoist Qin's alchemy skills were guided by Master Su. Shopkeeper Liao said with a smile on his face. Master Yan was astonished. Alchemy? Guided by Master Su. Indeed, fellow Taoist Qin is now not only a high-grade Spirit Plant Master, but also a genuine middle-grade alchemist. Shopkeeper Liao explained. This left Master Yan so shocked he couldn't sit still. Fellow Taoist Qin, you never told me you were also a middle-grade alchemist. Alas, it seems I underestimated you. Master Yan lamented that he was getting old. First, there was the brilliant Su Yuqing, achieving high-grade alchemist at a young age. Now even Qin Ming was a middle-grade alchemist, and so young too. The younger generation is truly formidable. Before long, Qin Ming's neighbors also arrived. Seeing Pavilion Master Ge personally accompanying, they were surprised. Fellow Taoist Qin, who would have thought? You advanced to high-grade Spirit Plant Master so quickly. Congratulations, congratulations. Huang Shishan, the high-grade refiner from the refining hall, congratulated. Then he took out an exquisite long wooden box as a gift and handed it to Qin Ming. Qin Ming opened it slightly, and inside was a finely crafted spiritual hoe. I forged this spiritual hoe on a whim back in the day. It's on par with ordinary middle-grade spiritual artifacts. It's perfect for fellow Taoist Qin now. Huang Shishan clearly showed goodwill, recognizing Qin Ming as an equal. Only among the neighbors did Qin Ming, like him, achieve a Tier 1 high-grade level in the 100 skills of cultivation. Feng brothers also arrived. They congratulated and presented a straightforward gift, a small pouch of spirit stones, no less than 200 pieces. Hee, fellow Taoist Qin. Who would have thought you possess such remarkable talent in the art of spirit plants? In just a year, you've quietly surpassed us. Lin Zixiao teased with a smile. Then he too presented a gift. Lin Zixiao's gift was a warning array, quite useful for Qin Ming. Soon, the room bustled with celebration. Qin Ming's status among the cultivators had completely transformed. Such a young, high-grade spirit plant master could very likely advance to Tier 2 spirit plant master. By then, if they wanted to form ties with this young spirit plant master, it would be too late. After several rounds of drinks, the celebration banquet ended amidst a harmonious and lively atmosphere. Returning to the cool, small residence, excitement flickered in Qin Ming's eyes. Almost there, just one more step to becoming a Tier 2 spirit plant master. Cool, small residence. The dawn light spills, with a gentle breeze blowing. Qin Ming glanced through the gifts from neighbors from the previous day and couldn't help but sigh. Cultivation is all about human relationships and worldly affairs. When these cultivators make a breakthrough in the future, he would have to return the favor. Putting away the items, Qin Ming got up and left the room. He strolled to the courtyard and walked straight towards the corner. Buzz, buzz, buzz. After some time, the hive hanging on the withered blood poison vine had grown significantly larger. Qin Ming took a closer look, and a hint of surprise emerged in his eyes. Why have these four-winged frost bees become so agitated? Calming his heart spirit, he used the bee-driving technique to quickly communicate with the queen bee, only to find, to his astonishment, that it had fallen asleep, seemingly in the midst of a breakthrough. Qin Ming's spirit was invigorated, casually capturing a frost bee in his hand to observe it. He noticed that several purple striped patterns had appeared on the body of the four-winged frost bee. All the frost bees had grown considerably larger and were undergoing a collective transformation. It seemed that this native bee swarm from the Yunza wilderness was about to advance to become Tier 1 spirit insects. How did they suddenly advance? Qin Ming was both surprised and delighted. Could it be related to those 3 demon flowers on the withered blood poison vine? After careful and repeated confirmation, he determined that the transformation of the bee swarm was due to the purple demon flowers. The reason was the purple striped patterns on the frost bees were almost identical to those of the purple demon flowers. The queen bee at the center of the hive had grown to the size of a fist, seemingly having gained immense benefits, and its aura had completely advanced to a Tier 1 low-grade spirit insect. Qin Ming contemplated, then with a thought, used up 2 ripening entries to ripen the 3 purple demon flowers to a fully blossomed state. A fragrance filled the entire courtyard, enticing and aromatic. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The spirit bee swarm became even more excited. Qin Ming decided not to rush in ripening all the flowers of the withered blood poison vine, wanting to observe changes in the spirit bees over the next few days. Unexpected gains indeed. By noon, Qin Ming left the courtyard gate, walking along the streets of Qingyang Market. He planned to rent spirit fields on a Tier 2 spirit vein. On the main road, in surrounding shops, some familiar cultivators greeted Qin Ming warmly. Fellow Taoist Qin, congratulations. Achieving high-grade spirit plant master at such a young age. Congratulations to fellow Taoist Qin, truly a role model among us loose cultivators. Congratulations, fellow Taoist Qin. Anyone residing in Qingyang Market for a long time warmly congratulated him. Passing cultivators focused their attention on Qin Ming. Some cultivators who didn't know Qin Ming began to inquire constantly. Excuse me, shopkeeper, who is that fellow Taoist? Is he remarkable? You don't know? Yesterday, among the spirit farmers serving in Spirit Feather Sect, a young cultivator from a family achieved a low-key rise, advancing to high-grade spirit plant master. That spirit farmer is Qin Ming, fellow Taoist Qin. His status will soar from here, with boundless prospects on the immortal path. Also, I heard that fellow Taoist Qin has a deep friendship with great alchemist Su Yuqing, and in addition to being a high-grade spirit plant master, he is also a middle-grade alchemist. If it weren't for the celebration banquet Qin Ming hosted yesterday at Jushuan Pavilion, no one would have known. It's rare to have such a figure among us loose cultivators. Fellow Taoist Qin is a model among spirit farmers, inspiring that a humble spirit farmer can rise step by step to high-grade spirit plant master. I plan to visit in a few days. On his way, Qin Ming was showered with compliments and congratulations from cultivators without cease. He felt quite embarrassed. This is troublesome. People fear fame, just like pigs fear fattening. If I get targeted by tribulation cultivators, it would be a disaster. Sigh, I shouldn't have hosted any gatherings. Qin Ming regretted internally. He first went as supervisor Du Haifu to terminate the lease for the 8 acres of spirit fields on a Tier 1 spirit vein. Oh, I didn't expect. Fellow Taoist Qin, I heard from the elder of our sect that you even passed such a difficult assessment. Your reputation is now not only in Qingyang market, but has caused a small-scale stir within the Spirit Feather sect. Despite having an ordinary spirit root, at just over 20 years old, reaching high-grade spirit plant master made him a promising young cultivator. Qin Ming sighed inwardly upon hearing this. He wished to keep a low profile, but found it impossible. However, his goal was to become a Tier 2 spirit plant master, so this step was inevitable. Afterward, he completed the lease termination procedures with Du Haifu. Fellow Taoist Qin, as a high-grade spirit plant master, you now qualify to rent spirit fields on a Tier 2 spirit vein. You can process this directly at the Steward Hall. Fellow Taoist Qin, don't forget us on the Sex Mountain. Visit whenever you're free. Du Haifu, with a plump face, complimented with a smile reminiscent of Mithra Buddha. Feelings were mixed within him. From now on, Qin Ming was no longer under his supervision. Seeing Du Haifu off, Qin Ming went to the Steward Hall, stating his purpose. The steward responsible for the Tier 2 spirit field in Spirit Feather sect also introduced politely. Fellow Taoist Qin, the Tier 2 spirit fields are located in the eastern area near Qingyang Market and are divided into Class A, B, C, and D based on proximity to the Spirit Vein Center. Tier 2 spirit fields are relatively scarce, totaling only about 100 acres. Class A spirit fields have the best environmental conditions and spiritual qi concentration. Besides spirit rice taxes, an annual fee of 300 spirit stones per acre is required. Class B spirit fields are next, requiring 200 spirit stones per acre annually. Class C spirit fields require 150 per acre annually, and Class D requires 100 spirit stones per acre annually. Qin Ming pondered a bit and decided, rent me 5 acres of Class A spirit field. The steward's smile broadened upon hearing this. Very well, fellow Taoist Qin, I'll expedite the process for you. Qin Ming handed over 1,500 spirit stones to the steward. The Spirit Feather sect steward efficiently completed the spirit field lease procedures for him. Fellow Taoist Qin, here's your spirit field lease token. Keep it safe. Qin Ming accepted the token and bade farewell to the Steward Hall, eager to see what the Tier 2 spirit fields were like. 2 incense sticks time. Qin Ming arrived at the Tier 2 spirit fields east of the market. An idyllic scene of clear springs, lush forests, and serene landscapes greeted him, a hidden world. The spiritual qi here was particularly rich, and Qin Ming inhaled deeply, feeling a vast sense of relaxation and pleasure. The spirit fields cultivated here are all Tier 1 high-grade spirit plants or higher. Furthermore, late-stage qi cultivators from the Spirit Feather sect continuously patrolled here in teams. But after strolling around, he hadn't yet found any fields planted with Tier 2 spirit plants. Qin Ming reached the 5 acres of Class A spirit field he rented. These spirit fields were well prepared, just waiting for him to plant spirit plants. He squatted down, grasping some spiritual soil from the field, and examined it keenly. The soil was exceptionally fertile, perfect for cultivating high-tier spirit plants. After reflecting for a while, Qin Ming decided on the type of spirit plant he would cultivate. However, he planned to visit Jushuan Pavilion to purchase some spirit seeds. As soon as Qin Ming arrived at Jushuan Pavilion, he was warmly received by shopkeeper Liao and escorted to a private room on the 7th floor. "Fellow Taoist Qin, please have some tea." Gu Qin Zhao personally brewed the tea for him and said with gentle grace. Qin Ming raised the spirit mist tea and took a sip. The aroma was enchanting. "Fellow Taoist Gu, I've come here intending to purchase some spirit seed from your pavilion." Upon hearing this, Gu Qin Zhao's eyes lit up instantly. "May I know what spirit plants fellow Taoist Qin plans to cultivate this year? Our pavilion's collection of spirit seeds is fairly complete." Qin Ming straightforwardly said, "Tier 2 low-grade spirit plant 5-colored rice, and Tier 2 low-grade spirit plant red, silver, yellow hemp." The faint smile that had been hanging on the corners of Gu Qin Zhao's mouth disappeared when she heard Qin Ming mention these two types of spirit seeds. She was stunned immediately. After a long while, Gu Qin Zhao finally came to her senses, asking uncertainly, "Fellow Taoist Qin, have you made up your mind? Are you sure about these two Tier 2 spirit plants?" Qin Ming nodded firmly. "But isn't fellow Taoist Qin planting Bisfong rice anymore? Starting directly with Tier 2 spirit plants is quite risky. Could it be somewhat inappropriate?" Gu Qin Zhao was utterly surprised that Qin Ming, having just become a high-grade spirit plant master, wanted to plant Tier 2 spirit plants. She was well aware of how difficult these Tier 2 spirit plants are to cultivate. Not to mention that even ordinary Tier 2 spirit plant masters of the Spirit Feather Sect would probably struggle with these two spirit plants. These two spirit plants are among the most difficult to cultivate among Tier 2 low-grade spirit plants. Qin Ming nodded again, earnestly saying, "I've already decided." Gu Qin Zhao, hearing this, had a complex expression. Although she found Qin Ming's talent for spirit plants astonishing, she still wasn't optimistic that Qin Ming could successfully cultivate Tier 2 spirit plants. Afterward, Gu Qin Zhao instructed someone to fetch the two different types of spirit seeds. To prevent the spirit seeds from losing their spirituality, they were stored in two exquisite jade boxes. Qin Ming opened the jade boxes. On one side were the multicolored spirit rice, and on the other were dark green spirit seed granules. He nodded again. The spirit seeds before him were about enough to plant the 5 mu of spirit field. The Tier 2 5-colored spirit rice is said to significantly enhance the mana cultivation of Qi cultivation stage cultivators, even providing certain benefits to foundation establishment stage cultivation, with extremely low yield and almost unavailable in the market. This spirit rice matures in 3 years and has very high growing requirements. As for the Tier 2 spirit plant red, silver, yellow hemp, its outer skin is the main material for refining high-tier talismans, making it quite expensive. Its leaves and mature fruits can be used in alchemy, making it valuable in every part, with a maturity period also of 3 years. Although red, silver, yellow hemp doesn't have such high growing requirements, during its growth, it emits a woody fragrance that easily attracts a particularly troublesome spirit insect. Not even the high-level spirit rain technique works on them. If not handled properly, it could lead to pest infestations or even plant death. Fellow Taoist Gu, how much are these spirit seeds? Gu Qin Zhao smiled faintly and said, "These Tier 2 spirit seeds are quite rare, and we have only these 2 boxes in stock, originally intended for auction. Since fellow Taoist Qin needs them, we will prioritize your purchase. After a 20% discount for fellow Taoist Qin. The spirit seeds of Tier 2 5-colored spirit rice are priced at 1,500 spirit stones. The spirit seeds of Tier 2 red, silver, yellow hemp are priced at 2,000 spirit stones. Fellow Taoist Qin, have you thought it through? If the cultivation fails, not only will you lose this large amount of spirit stones, but you'll also waste time and energy." Gu Qin Zhao kindly advised. Qin Ming smiled slightly and swiftly took out the spirit stones from his storage pouch to pay her. Gu Qin Zhao accepted the spirit stones and suddenly asked, if fellow Taoist Qin really manages to cultivate the 2-tier 2 spirit plants, would you be willing to sell a portion to our pavilion? I can, but I'm also just trying it out, so fellow Taoists shouldn't have overly high expectations. Qin Ming replied after taking a sip of spirit tea. The transaction was completed. Qin Ming didn't rush to plant the spirit seeds in the spirit field. Before deciding to cultivate these 2 spirit plants, he had already researched various spirit plant books, memorizing all the methods, steps, and key points for these 2 spirit plants. Before planting the 5-colored rice, it needs to be soaked in a specially prepared cultivating spirit liquid for some time. And the materials needed to prepare this cultivating spirit liquid weren't difficult to gather. Qin Ming managed to purchase the materials from several nearby shops. Back at the cool, small residence, Qin Ming prepared the cultivating spirit liquid and carefully placed just a few 5-colored rice spirit seeds into it, as this was his first time preparing it and he wasn't sure if it would work. In a few days, the results would reveal themselves. Having done all this, Qin Ming went out again, heading to the southern area of Qingyang Market. After turning several corners, he arrived in front of shop, the Spirit Beast Pavilion. Qin Ming stepped inside. The hall was very spacious, with an ancient and elegant decor. The business of the shop was booming, with quite a few cultivators already at the counter booking purchases of spirit beasts. A sweet-looking young female cultivator politely greeted him, her voice crisp and clear like a bell. "Welcome, fellow Taoist, to our shop. Do you have a particular spirit beast you wish to purchase?" Qin Ming lightly coughed into his hand and asked, "I'm not here to buy a spirit beast. I wonder if your pavilion sells the dung of the black-maned dragon-brown horse." As soon as he finished speaking, the cultivators in the hall turned their heads. Among them, a few cultivators revealed playful smiles. Who comes to the Spirit Beast Pavilion not to buy spirit beasts, but to buy horse dung? At this moment, a middle-aged cultivator in luxurious clothing stepped out from the inner hall. The female cultivator who greeted them hurriedly called out, "Shopkeeper," upon seeing him. "Ah, isn't this fellow Taoist Qin? Please come inside." The shopkeeper seemed to recognize Qin Ming and warmly invited him in. Qin Ming hurriedly waved his hand. "I won't be having tea about what I just asked." The shopkeeper was momentarily surprised, then chuckled. "Of course we have it. Fellow Taoist Qin, you can have as much as you need. For something this trivial, we won't charge spirit stones. Let's consider it a gesture of goodwill. Ha ha ha. No, fair is fair. If that's the case, I'll just ask somewhere else." Qin Ming didn't want no favors. The shopkeeper awkwardly laughed. "Then in that case, just a few spirit stones will be fine." Qin Ming needed the dung of the black-maned dragon-brown horse for a significant purpose. Before planting Tier 2 spirit plant red, silver, yellow hemp, the spirit field needed to be prepared in advance, using wood ash from burned spirit plant stalks mixed with horse dung and several other spiritual materials to enrich the spirit field, to lay a solid foundation for the growth of spirit plants. By now, many cultivators in the hall noticed his conversation with the shopkeeper and gradually recognized Qin Ming. They came forward to greet Qin Ming. "Hello, fellow Taoist Qin." "Hello, fellow Taoist Qin." "So it's fellow Taoist Qin, I was wondering. Fellow Taoist Qin must be purchasing horse dung for cultivating spirit plants, which seems quite reasonable, right? Who was snickering just now?" Qin Ming returned to the cool, small residence, resuming his leisurely and peaceful life. 7 days passed by in a flash. Qin Ming came to the side of the cultivation liquid, carefully observing the changes in the 5-colored spirit rice seeds. Among the cultivation liquid, a tender sprout emerged from the shell. Success! Immediately, he soaked all the 5-colored rice spirit seeds in the jade box into the cultivation liquid. When the spirit seeds finish soaking, they can be taken to the spirit field for planting. Qin Ming then came to the courtyard. In the corner of the courtyard, that nest of 4-winged frost bees had completed their advancement, all transforming into early-stage Tier 1 spirit insects, and the queen bee had even reached Tier 1 mid-stage. With a thought, Qin Ming connected with the queen bee. It received Qin Ming's command and flew out of the hive, appearing before him ghost-like in a flash. The speed indeed startled Qin Ming. Behind it, thousands of spirit bees followed closely, buzzing loudly, making for quite the spectacle. If you were targeted by such a swarm of hot-tempered spirit bees, even mid-stage qi cultivation might not withstand it, right? Qin Ming commanded the swarm to fly wildly throughout the courtyard, directing them anywhere his mind pointed. Mainly because the frost bee queen advanced, it became more attuned to Qin Ming's mind, connecting closely, and the swarm was very obedient. Qin Ming came before the withered blood poison vine, gazing at the blooming purple demon flower. It can even make the bee swarm advance. Let me see what kind of fruit it will produce. Qin Ming used up the last 3, ripening, entries continuously, spending 2 days to mature the 3 demon flowers on the withered blood poison vine. As the purple petals withered, 3 purple round fruits appeared. Qin Ming picked them all, and instantly, a golden word transformed into a stream of light entering his sea of consciousness. Blue entry leaf, leaf of spacetime X5. It can mature high-tier spirit plants to a 100-year state in a short time, and the effect can stack. Qin Ming was delighted, meaning he could obtain 500-year-old spirit plants or 1 500-year-old spirit plant. He picked up the purple spirit fruit in his hand, casually breaking one open, finding no flesh inside, only purple-black spirit seeds. These are presumed to be the same as the previous spirit seeds, primarily used for the thorn technique, but the exact power remains unknown. Qin Ming pondered, planning to test on a beast one of these days. There were still 2 acres of medicine fields in the courtyard. Qin Ming bought some spirit seeds of high-grade spirit grass and planted them. Such spirit grass is partly for alchemy and partly because Tier 1 spirit grass has a short growth cycle, convenient for refreshing entries for daily use. Then, he found a corner of the medicine field and planted all 5 divine essence fruits entrusted by Su Yuqing. Tier 2 spirit plant divine essence fruit is a primary material needed to refine Tier 2 spiritual pill green fall pill, able to enhance the mana cultivation of early-stage foundation establishment. Judging by Su Yuqing's spirit root talent, breaking through to the foundation establishment stage seems guaranteed, as she's already planning for post-foundation establishment matters. After another half-month, Qin Ming's preparations were mostly complete. He took his belongings and went out. In the spirit medicine field east of the market, Qin walked on the field ridge, accompanied by mountain streams along the way, as though entering a secluded and verdant immortal realm. The environment of Tier 2 low-grade spirit veins is truly different. He arrived at his 5 acres, tending the spirit fields, firstly turning over the spirit soil in 3 acres, then sowing the 5-colored rice spirit seeds soaked in cultivation liquid evenly. Next, he burned all the beast fong rice stalks, combined with black maned dragon brown horse manure, mixed with several other spiritual materials, buried them in the remaining 2 acres of spirit field, then planted the spirit seeds of red, silver, yellow hemp. Boom! Crack! Qin Ming grasped the high-level spirit rain technique, using spiritual rain to water all the spirit fields, continuing for most of the day. Phew! Now it's up to time. If it doesn't work, I can only wait for the ripening entries to be refreshed. In the days that followed, Qin Ming persistently cultivated night and day while enjoying the pastoral harmony. The days of cultivation are dull yet fulfilling. Nightfall came. Qingyang Market lit up, and the streets gleamed dimly. The starlight adorned the sky, creating a bustling atmosphere everywhere. Qin Ming came out of the shanty area, originally Su Yuqing's room. His expression was quite excited. Today, he successfully refined 2 furnaces of spirit-gathering pills, over 20. Moreover, his luck was surprisingly good. During the pill refinement, all were high-grade quality. This is akin to Su Yuqing's level when she first came to the market. In a while, he could attempt to refine high-grade spirit pills, aiming for high-grade alchemist status. Qin Ming returned to his courtyard, went straight to the quiet chamber, relaxed his body and mind, and sat cross-legged on the grass-woven mat. He opened the pill bottle, letting a deep blue high-grade spirit-gathering pill roll into his hand with a hint of warmth. freshly refined high-grade pill. Qin Ming took the pill into his mouth and began cultivating. Several hours later, suddenly, inside the cool small residence annex, a strong fluctuation of mana surged. After consuming 3 high-grade spirit-gathering pills, Qin Ming's mana cultivation officially stepped into the Qi cultivation 6th layer. Amid his breakthrough joy, he also discovered a problem. That is, no matter how good a pill is, it cannot replace meals. His current intake of high-grade spirit-gathering pills has led to severe drug resistance. Through this cultivation, he realized the mana growth effect of spirit-gathering pills had become minimal. It could be said that continuing to consume spirit-gathering pills, even high-grade ones, holds little benefit for him in enhancing cultivation. In future, breakthrough to the later stages would require refining higher-level spirit pills. Qin Ming is very satisfied with his current cultivation progress, steady, gradual improvement, solidifying his foundation. His current mana cultivation base is exceedingly robust. The longevity dharma power within him not only became extremely pure, but continuously flowed, his qi long and unbroken, and his dantian has expanded by over double, akin to a late-stage qi cultivation 7th layer cultivator. The key is building a strong base. After finishing cultivation, Qin Ming came to the courtyard, slapped his storage pouch, and the cyan nether sword instantly appeared in his hand. Swish! The cyan sword aura crisscrossed, wildly dancing in the courtyard. With joy on his face, he grasped the object manipulation technique, controlling the Dharma sword. This is indeed a top-grade spiritual artifact. Aside from its large mana consumption, it's perfect in every other aspect. There's none of the sluggishness felt with low-tier spiritual artifacts. Spiritual power flows faster through the meridians. Slash! The cyan nether sword flew around the courtyard, tracing a splendid arc in the air, landing in Qin Ming's hand. He held the Dharma sword behind him, gazing upward at a 45-degree angle at the starlit sky, adopting a sage-like posture. He felt an inexplicable surge of confidence rising within. The pride of having the world at his feet with swords in hand was immense. Moments later, Qin Ming calmed down, storing the cyan nether sword in his storage pouch. Modesty, always keep a low profile. Do not let it get to your head. This level of cultivation is still not much. At the end of December, winter was approaching. The Yunzi wilderness was shrouded in a gray mist. Huge snowflakes were falling in Qingyang Market. These days, Qin Ming, having nothing else to do, studied a pill formula, a middle-grade pill specifically for feeding spirit insects called the spirit feeding pill. In the absence of flowering seasons, these spirit feeding pills could also feed his spirit insects. That day, Qin Ming once again went to the back mountain of the spirit field, looked around to ensure no one was around, and ventured into the woods alone. He took out a purple demon flower spirit seed, holding it in his hand, quietly waiting for prey to appear. Soon after, a large snow leopard appeared in Qin Ming's sight. Quickly reacting, he immediately cast a spell with his hand and flicked the spirit seed towards the snow leopard. In a split second, by sheer coincidence, the leopard leaped away, seemingly preparing to find food elsewhere. The thorn technique landed right where it had just jumped from. Whoosh! A bunch of purple-black withered vines frenziedly grew from the ground. Just when Qin Ming thought his spell had failed, dense, hair-thin, poisonous thorns appeared on the purple vine. Strangely, these thorns were ethereal, with no physical form. They emitted an extremely chilling evil qi, seeming to specifically target the divine soul. If not for Qin Ming's powerful spiritual sense to observe, it would have been almost undetectable. The thorns, stimulated by the snow leopard's jump, surprisingly flew off automatically and at lightning speed. They deeply pierced into the snow leopard's mind. Thud! The snow leopard froze and fell stiffly from midair. Its pupils started to shrink, eyes turning white, collapsing to the ground suddenly without a sign. As expected, an evil poison, capable of freezing through the divine soul. It can actually shoot the evil thorns out of the body, much more flexible than the previous thorn technique. This made Qin Ming even more excited, as the thorn technique he previously used with black spirit seeds was also powerful. But it had a flaw. If not preemptively set on the enemy's inevitable path, during casting it could easily be dodged or blocked by opponents. Now, with this purple spirit seed, it can automatically emit thorns, catching foes off guard without any defense. Yet casting it directly is still too obvious, giving the opponent time to react. If the opponent does not have a defensive spiritual artifact specifically protecting against divine soul attacks, using this in conjunction with the previous spirit seeds is enough to confuse the opponent, causing them to fall hard. The purple withered vine instantly wrapped around the snow leopard's body, turning it into a dried corpse, transforming into a blood pearl that fell to the ground. Qin Ming raised his hand to retrieve the blood pearl, which served as excellent nourishment for that withered blood poison vine. Suddenly, a flash of inspiration crossed his mind. His eyes sparkled with spiritual light. What if this thorn technique was used in conjunction with the high-level spirit rain technique? What chain effect would that cause? It's known that Qin Ming currently, with mana comparable to the Qi Cultivation 7th layer, can cast the spirit rain technique covering hundreds of feet in radius at full strength. If he hid the purple spirit seed with the thorn technique in the clouds, falling with the spiritual rain, it could kill invisibly. Actions followed thoughts. Qin Ming planned to find a target to test it on. Qin Ming then summoned the group of four-winged frost bees. He also wanted to see, now that they've advanced to Tier 1 spirit insects, how formidable their combat capabilities were. Qin Ming continued deeper into the woods, searching for half a day, finally discovering a cave by a cliff. He controlled the swarm of bees to fly inside. Moments later, roar. A tremor from a furious roar shook the ground and mountains from inside. Qin Ming's expression changed. His demeanor tense. Can't be so unlucky, can it? Just out here to test the spell's power. Shouldn't run into some formidable demon beast, right? He leaped up, landing on a nearby giant tree. Narrowing his eyes, he kept a watchful gaze locked on the cave entrance. Thud! Thud! Footsteps of a colossal creature hitting the ground echoed. A black-furred giant bear, standing over 2 feet tall, came running out of the cave. It's a Tier 1 mid-stage demon beast. Qin Ming showed an odd expression, murmuring. He instantly felt a sigh of relief. If placed in the past, encountering such a fierce beast meant either becoming its food or having to flee in panic. But not anymore. Hot on the heels of the giant bear demon beast came Qin Ming's swarm of four-winged frost bees. A large mass of frost bees enveloped the giant bear demon beast. Though the transparent stingers of the spirit bees penetrated everywhere, putting the beast in a dire state. Yet its skin was thick. No matter how the spirit bees attacked, they couldn't break through the giant bear demon beast's thick fur. Qin Ming, seeing the time was right, recalled the four-winged frost bees back into the spirit beast bag. He cast a spell and pointed into the air. Rumble. Above in the sky, a vortex of dark clouds began to form. The moment Qin Ming cast the spell, he already scattered the purple withered vine spirit seed, enhanced with the thorn technique, into the clouds, making it almost impossible to detect. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Now Qin Ming, having executed the high-level spirit rain technique, reached the point of instant casting, effortlessly and elegantly, casting it instantly, causing torrential rain to fall suddenly within a radius of several hundred feet. The giant bear demon beast below looked up at the sky, fear showing in its eyes. It couldn't understand why, in this snowy weather, there was suddenly thunder, lightning, and rain. The giant bear began to run, trying to return to the cave. Raindrops quickly fell on its body. A look of confusion flashed in the bear's eyes as it shook off the rain. This rain seemed not dangerous to it, cold and refreshing, rather oddly pleasant. But at that moment, several hair-thin, transparent poison thorns mixed in with the rain fell. Like melting ice, they easily penetrated the giant bear demon beast's body. While enjoying the rain's embrace, a sharp pain suddenly struck its mind, its consciousness becoming muddled. Moments later, the giant bear demon beast's body froze, remaining motionless in its previous posture. Though it showed no outward injuries, it was already dead. Several clumps of thorns fell from the clouds, entangling the giant bear's body, transforming into a blood pearl after a few moments. It really works in combination. From now on, this technique will be called Evil Cold Rain. I never thought Spirit Plant technique could also combine in a large-scale sneak moves. Qin Ming put away the spell and dissipated the clouds, visibly excited. He leaped and landed in front of the giant bear demon beast, collecting the blood pearl, then took its fur, as middle-tier demon beast spiritual materials could be exchanged for spirit stones. Qin Ming's face showed joy, having gained another unexpected trump card. While he was immersed in joy, the communication talisman on him suddenly delivered a message. Qin Ming opened it to find it from shopkeeper Liao. Fellow Taoist Qin, what are you busy with? I just went to cool small residence to find you, but not for a long time. Seems you're not home. Here's the thing. Our pavilion master broke through to Foundation establishment successfully a few days ago. After consolidating her cultivation, she just finished her closed-door seclusion today. The pavilion master wants to invite you to attend the small Foundation establishment celebration a few days later. Specifically sent me to deliver an invitation to fellow Taoist Qin. Qin Ming's face revealed an expression of shock and envy, murmuring, "What?" Gu Qingzhao broke through to the Foundation establishment stage. 5 days later, Qin Ming took the invitation sent by shopkeeper Liao, preparing to attend the banquet by invitation. He had just opened the courtyard gate and walked out when he happened to meet the chief refiner Huang Xishan from the opposite courtyard, who was also about to leave. "Oh, fellow Taoist Qin, you're getting ready to go out." Huang Xishan saw Qin Ming and walked over to greet him. Qin Ming also cupped his hands towards Huang Xishan. Indeed, fellow Taoist Gu is hosting a small Foundation establishment celebration today, and I'm planning to head over. "Oh, isn't that a coincidence? I also received an invitation. Why not go together?" Huang Xishan said with a smile. Qin Ming showed a surprised look and laughed freely. "That would be great. By the way, Master Yan and the others." Qin Ming hesitated for a moment and asked. Huang Xishan obviously understood what he meant and straightforwardly replied, They have not received an invitation from Pavilion Master Go. It is said that those invited are all cultivators who have reached the high-grade level in the 100 skills of cultivation or high-tier cultivators." Qin Ming understood and nodded. Later, this time, Gu Qingzhao hosted a small Foundation establishment celebration not at Jushuan Pavilion. Instead, it was arranged at the Yunming mountain base of the Mirror Snow Pavilion located in Yunza Wilderness. The two left Qingyang Market, boarded their flying spiritual artifact, and flew towards Yunming Mountain. If it were a cultivation clan, as long as a Foundation establishment cultivator emerged within the clan, there would be no question of holding a grand Foundation establishment ceremony to showcase the clan's strength, just like the deep impression left on Qin Ming. The day he was abandoned by the clan and sent with Spirit Feather Sect to open up Wasteland was exactly the day a certain uncle in the clan held a Foundation establishment ceremony. Qin Ming didn't even catch the banquet before he was sent onto the Dharma ship heading to Yunza Wilderness. And the resources used for that uncle's success in Foundation establishment were obtained by exchanging those hopeless children of the clan's immortal path with Spirit Feather Sect. But within a power like Mirror Snow Pavilion, the Foundation establishment stage is at most considered a small middle rank. Plus, Gu Qingzhao's personality is proud and aloof, not fond of noisy scenes. It's estimated that she invited a few familiar fellow disciples and important frequent partners for a small celebration. Half an hour later, the two were controlling their flying spiritual artifact, flying through clouds towards the northwest. Gradually, a misty mountain peak appeared in their sight. On Yunming Mountain, numerous independent cave mansions are opened. The environment is elegant, rich in spiritual qi, and occupies a huge area. Qin Ming and Huang Xishan landed midway up the mountain with their flying spiritual artifact. This Tier 2 high-grade spiritual vein is truly extraordinary. Huang Xishan inhaled deeply and sighed infinitely. Qin Ming also nodded in agreement, feeling the dense heaven and earth spiritual qi. With such a premium cultivation environment, it's no wonder so many foundation establishment cultivators are born. The two approached the mountain gate guard and handed over the invitation. Immediately, someone came out to greet them, leading Qin Ming and Huang Xishan. A little while later, the two arrived before a patch of verdant bamboo forest. The cultivator responsible for welcoming guests passed on the message, and a restriction outside opened. A graceful silhouette emerged from inside, exuding the aura of Foundation Establishment stage mana, approached the two. After reaching Foundation Establishment, Gu Qingzhao's presence became even more noble. Dressed in a simple long dress, she seemed like a fairy descended upon the mortal world. Pavilion Master Gu, fellow Taoist Gu. Qin Ming and Huang Xishan cupped their hands in salute. Fellow Taoist Huang, fellow Taoist Qin. No need to be formal. Please come inside to rest and have a seat. Gu Qingzhao glanced at Qin Ming, and suddenly her beautiful eyes lit up. Fellow Taoist Qin, have you broken through to the Qi cultivation 6th layer? It was a lucky breakthrough. Qin Ming replied modestly. Compared to her advancement to Foundation Establishment, his breakthrough in cultivation was insignificant. It was like a small feat compared to a great one. Fellow Taoist Gu, congratulations on your successful Foundation Establishment. Here's our gift. The two handed over the gifts, and Gu Qingzhao gladly accepted them. Passing through the bamboo forest, Gu Qingzhao's cave mansion was in a serene little valley. Inside were waterfall streams, spritz springs, garden medicine plots, cultivation, quiet chamber, all complete. The moment Qin Ming and Huang Xishan entered, they were met with the oppressive aura of Foundation Establishment stage. Huang Xishan's face turned pale, almost unable to stand firm, while Qin Ming's physical body was strong, not greatly affected but pretended to feel immense pressure. At this moment, in the courtyard outside the cave mansion, over a dozen cultivators had gathered, all without exception in the Foundation Establishment stage. Even Foundation Establishment elders from Spirit Feather Sect and Golden Cloud Valley were present. Currently, even these Foundation Establishment cultivators, without releasing spiritual pressure intentionally, the focus of their gaze made it somewhat unbearable. Qin Ming and Huang Xishan couldn't help but be somewhat confused. The Foundation Establishment heights rarely seen outside were now clustered here. One could say, apart from the two of them and a few cultivators, everyone else present was of above Foundation Establishment stage. Master Fong. Huang Xishan spotted someone among the crowd, instantly dumbfounded. He hesitated briefly, then approached humbly to greet the person. Qin Ming looked over. That person was none other than the Master Fong Yi, a Tier 2 refining master renowned in Yunza Wilderness. Simultaneously, Master Fong Yi was originally a loose cultivator, who later became the president of the Artifact Refiners Guild. The top-grade flying spiritual artifact, Spiritual Light Shuttle, in a storage pouch was crafted by that person. Fellow Taoist Qin, fellow Taoist Huang, please have a seat here. These are our Mirror Snow Pavilion's fellow friends. Gu Qingzhao arranged for the two to sit next to their own to relieve their pressure. Qingzhao, who are these two fellows Taoists? A young man dressed in a silver Dharma robe from Mirror Snow Pavilion asked. His aura was also at the Foundation Establishment level. Oh, let me introduce them. This is high-grade Spirit Plant Master, fellow Taoist Qin Ming, also a middle-grade alchemist, and this is fellow Taoist Huang Xishan, a high-grade refiner. They are friends who have closely cooperated with me. Gu Qingzhao introduced them to the audience. The Foundation Establishment youth listened and exchanged pleasantries with Qin Ming and the others. After scanning the aura of the two, finding they were at Qi cultivation stage cultivation. Once Gu Qingzhao left, the cultivators at the table lost interest in talking to them. The Foundation Establishment cultivators at the table started communicating and talking among themselves. Qin Ming and Huang Xishan could only eat quietly, not being able to join the conversation much. If Guqing Zhao was not lenient with certain rules, they would have to call her senior. The cultivators at this table were also to be respected as seniors by rank. After all, the cultivation realm respects power. Cultivation and Dao are fundamental. All 100 skills of cultivation practices are to advance cultivation, progressing further on the immortal path. Though the two weren't directly ignored by these foundation establishment seniors, there was still a feeling of sitting on pins and needles. The two of them, while priding themselves on mastering superior high-grade cultivation skills, respected highly outside. Upon entering here, with only Qi cultivation stage, felt somewhat out of place. Qin Ming initially wanted to access higher-level information and connect with Guqing Zhao's circle, now seeing it's better not to forcibly blend into a different circle. At this moment, Guqing Zhao brought in a polite middle-aged cultivator from outside. Wearing Mirror Snow Pavilion's silver Dharma robe, his cultivation surprisingly reaching the mid-stage foundation establishment level. In an instant, the gaze of present cultivators fell upon him. Huangfu Guardian. The Mirror Snow Pavilion Foundation establishment cultivators at Qin Ming's table saw him entering and promptly stood to salute him. The duo dared not to neglect, cupping hands in salutation. Guqing Zhao brought the middle-aged cultivator and introduced to the pair. This is Huangfu Qi Guardian of Mirror Snow Pavilion, who will be stationed at the Yunza Immortal Cities branch. If you two ever wish to cooperate, you can get acquainted in advance. When Qin Ming heard this, he felt somewhat overwhelmed, hurriedly complying. Friend Qin, on my way here, I heard Qing Zhao hold you in high regard. I coincidentally have a matter to ask of you. I wonder if it's convenient? Ha! Huangfu Qi spoke elegantly, smiling, asking Qin Ming. As soon as Huangfu Qi finished speaking, the cultivators present shifted their gaze to Qin Ming, all filled with curiosity and confusion. The Foundation Establishment cultivator from Mirror Snow Pavilion, who had spoken to Qin Ming earlier, showed a complex expression. Elder Huangfu, this junior dares not claim any skill, but if it's within my ability, I'm willing to try to help. Qin Ming was also puzzled. What could a mid-stage Foundation Establishment cultivator possibly need from him? Haha, no rush. Today is Qing Zhao's joyous day. We'll talk in private after we finish our drinks. Having said this, Huangfu Qi sat down in the chair next to Qin Ming. Unlike other Foundation Establishment cultivators, Huangfu Qi gave off a more approachable vibe, not putting on the airs of a great cultivator even with low-tier cultivators like Qin Ming. Subsequently, the maid behind him poured spirit wine for everyone. Huangfu Qi even initiated a toast with Qin Ming. Seeing the guardian behave in such a manner, the people from Mirror Snow Pavilion at the table also started chatting with Qin Ming. For a moment, the atmosphere at the table changed completely from before. Qin Ming drank while pondering over Huangfu Qi's earlier words. Huang Shishan, sitting nearby, was also feeling awkward. If it weren't for his presence, today's meal would have been hard to endure. At the same time, Huang Shishan was secretly amazed. He didn't expect fellow Daoist Qin to be so well concealed that even a mid-stage Foundation Establishment high-level cultivator would have a request for him. The sunset slanted to the west as the banquet concluded. The cultivators left, bidding farewell to Guqing Zhao. Qin Ming and Huang Shishan also said their goodbyes to her. Friend Qin, please accompany me to my cave mansion for a discussion. It won't take much of your time. Huangfu Qi invited. Huang Shishan, feeling slightly awkward, said to Qin Ming, in that case, fellow Daoist Qin, discuss with Elder Huangfu first. I'll wait outside. Qin Ming nodded and then followed Huangfu Qi to his cultivation cave mansion. It wasn't far from Guqing Zhao's cave mansion, both located in the most spiritually rich areas. However, Huangfu Qi's style was completely different from Guqing Zhao's, with courtyard landscaping filled with a scholarly atmosphere. If one didn't know better, they might think they had walked into an academy. I heard from Qin Zhao that when friend Qin was promoted to a high-grade spirit plant master, you passed the assessment by reviving the golden sun tree? Huangfu Qi asked as they walked. Qin Ming was taken aback, vaguely guessing what the other party wanted him to do, and then nodded respectfully, saying, to report to Elder Huangfu. That is correct. Upon hearing this answer, a hint of joy flashed across Huang Fuqi's face, and his steps quickened slightly. That's wonderful. He led Qin Ming to a backyard, where there was a small spirit medicine field filled with many spirit herbs and medicines. The lush greenery was evidently well cultivated, with impressive grade spirit plants. Even Tier 2 spirit plants were abundant. A glance was enough for Qin Ming to know that such cultivation was not typical, but rather the work of a highly accomplished spirit plant master. He couldn't help but be surprised, wondering if this foundation establishment elder was also a high-tier spirit plant master. What, then, was the purpose of asking him for assistance? A series of questions swirled in Qin Ming's mind. After a moment, Huang Fuqi stopped in a corner of the medicine field and pointed to a pot of spirit plant, asking a little awkwardly, "I would like to ask friend Qin to help me see if this spirit flower can be revived." Qin Ming leaned in to see that it was a spirit plant as red as flames, but currently wilting on the verge of death. "Elder Huang Fu, aren't you a spirit plant master?" Qin Ming inquired about his doubts. Huang Fuqi smiled slightly. "Haha, I'm not, but my partner is a Tier 2 spirit plant master." He sighed and explained the situation. "It's all my carelessness. Recently, before my partner left on business, they asked me to take care of this flame heart 7-leaf flower. As it happened, I forgot to replace the spiritual soil and water the flower with spiritual spring water in recent days, resulting in this state. This flower holds special significance for both of us, as it was a token of our love when we first fell for each other, carefully nurtured till now. If she returns and sees I let the flower die, she wouldn't spare me easily, alas. Friend Qin, do you think there's a way to save this spirit plant?" Huang Fuqi looked at Qin Ming with hopeful eyes. Qin Ming was equally troubled, knowing that the Flame Heart 7-leaf flower is a genuine Tier 2 spirit plant, incomparable to the Golden Sun tree. Although he had one last regenerative spirit seed, entry left, he didn't want to waste it here. But if he refused, after all, Huang Fuqi, a mid-stage foundation establishment cultivator, humbly requested his help. If he offended him and forfeited any opportunity for future favors, what would he do? With no other choice, Qin Ming sighed inwardly. This damn love. Elder Huang Fu, this Flame Heart 7-leaf flower being a Tier 2 spirit plant is somewhat beyond my current capability. Qin Ming hesitantly tried to refuse. But before Qin Ming could finish, Huang Fuqi interrupted him, speaking earnestly. "If fellow Taoist Qin can help me with this, I will owe you a favor as the guardian, and as long as it's not an excessive request, feel free to ask." Upon hearing this, Qin Ming's spirit lifted instantly. "Ahem, though my skills are limited, I will certainly do my utmost to try and revive this spirit plant," he answered with firm determination. Upon hearing this, Huang Fuqi showed a pleased smile. He dared to entrust such an important matter to Qin Ming because before coming he had already heard from good Qin Zhao that Qin Ming had purchased spirit seeds from her and had begun cultivating Tier 2 spirit plants. Presumably, he had some confidence in his skills to undertake such a task. After pondering for a moment, Qin Ming spoke. "Elder Huang Fu, I will take this spirit plant with me. It may take some time, but I'll return it once it's revived. Friend Qin, why not stay in the guest room at my cave mansion? Someone here can attend to your needs. There's no need to take it away," Huang Fuqi suggested, slightly hesitant. Qin Ming, however, was not inclined to stay and persisted. "Elder Huang Fu, you also know that I have several acres of spirit plants in my spirit field that require attention, and I truly can't be away for too long." Upon hearing this, Huang Fuqi thought for a moment, nodded, and agreed to Qin Ming's request. After a while, Qin Ming left the cave mansion, carrying the pot with the Flame Heart 7-leaf flower. After carefully considering the pros and cons, the entries can always be reused. In exchange for a favor from a mid-stage foundation establishment great cultivator, it was quite an advantageous deal. At the foot of Yunmeng Mountain, seeing Qin Ming emerge with a pot in hand, Huang Shishan couldn't help but ask, "Fellow Taoist Qin, how did your discussion with Elder Huang Fu go?" "Not too bad," Qin Ming answered slightly evasively. Upon hearing this, Huang Shishan felt a twinge of envy, remarking, "I didn't expect fellow Daoist Qin would be held in such regard by Elder Huangfu. Seems like your future is on a rise, hee. When the time comes, don't forget to lend your old brother a hand." Afterward, the two of them summoned their flying magical artifacts to return to Qingyang Market. Qin Ming returned to the market. He immediately used the regenerative spirit seed entry to revive the pot of flame heart 7-leaf flower. After more than 10 days, he delivered the spirit flower back to Huang Fuqi. Huang Fuqi was pleasantly surprised and astonished at how Qin Ming had truly revived the spirit flower, greatly raising his opinion of Qin Ming. As a result, Qin Ming gained a favor from a mid-stage foundation establishment cultivator. A favor like this can be life-saving at critical moments. As for what request to make, he hasn't thought of one yet. Huang Fuqi agreed, regardless of when Qin Ming would bring it up. Meanwhile, Qin Ming's transactions with Guqin Zhao were becoming increasingly frequent. The spirit-gathering pill he refined became a hot-selling pill in Jushuan Pavilion because the quality of Qin Ming's pills was much better than those from other places. A few months later, Qin Ming successfully refined a batch of high-grade marrow cleansing pills in the alchemy room of the slum area. It marked his formal advancement to high-grade alchemist. However, learning from past lessons, he didn't mention this news to anyone for the time being. Based on the alchemy notes left by Su Yuqing, Qin Ming found a pill formula that was even better than the spirit-gathering pill. It's the high-grade pill spirit storage pill, the best spirit pill Qin Ming could currently access to enhance Qi cultivation stage cultivation. Time quickly passed. Another half-year went by. On this day, Qin Ming went to his spirit field as usual. These Tier 2 spirit plants really grow slowly. This time Qin Ming was planting Tier 2 spirit plants without relying on the ripening entry, solely based on his own experience and exploration. The record officer from Spirit Feather Sect would occasionally come to the spirit field to record the growth status. Qin Ming was confident and determined that he could successfully cultivate them. However, the growth cycle of Tier 2 spirit plants was too long, and they still hadn't sprouted, making him feel a bit anxious. As usual, Qin Ming prepared to deploy the high-level spirit rain technique in the spirit field. But he keenly noticed that in the spirit field, clusters of tender green shoots had sprouted. At the same time, four golden entries appeared in his vision. Name, 5-colored rice entry, spelled duplication X1, maturity 2%. Name, 5-colored rice entry, Qi blood crystal, X5, maturity 1%. Name, red silver yellow hemp entry, quality enhancement X5, maturity 1%. Name, red silver yellow hemp entry, weak lifespan X5, maturity 2%. Spell duplication. Can duplicate and store any spell cast in front of oneself, but can only be used once completely. Qi blood crystal. Contains terrifying Qi blood power. Weak lifespan. Increases lifespan by 10 years upon use. Qin Ming gazed at the entries, his heart thrilled. Even lifespan can be increased. If I can refresh more lifespan in the future, there's hope for immortal Dao. Suppressing his inner joy, Qin Ming began to reign and nourish the spirit field. After a busy half-day, he finally finished the work. Qin Ming returned from the spirit field. Upon arriving home, he received a communication talisman from shopkeeper Liao. Fellow Daoist Qin, recently there has been a change in the situation. The pavilion master wishes to discuss this with you face-to-face. Upon hearing this news, Qin Ming's brows furrowed unintentionally. What event has occurred now? Half an incense sticks later, Qin Ming hurriedly arrived at Jushuan Pavilion and went straight to the 7th floor private room. Fellow Daoist Qin, please have some tea. Guqin Zhao, usually composed, revealed a rare smile, making her look very beautiful. Qin Ming accepted the teacup, gently sipped, and without exchanging pleasantries, directly asked, Fellow Daoist Go, is there new information? Guqin Zhao raised her hand to cast a soundproof barrier before slowly speaking. Indeed, due to the collaboration between Spirit Feather Sect and Golden Cloud Valley, Just yesterday, the forward battle camps of the two sects have broken through the barbaric tribe. Does this mean the Tier 3 spirit vein has fallen into the hands of the two sects? Upon hearing this news, Qin Ming was significantly shocked. Unexpectedly, the two sects joining forces along with a lot of cannon fodder loose cultivators eventually defeated the barbaric tribe. It is known that a Tier 3 spirit vein is enough to cultivate a golden core cultivator. Its allure can only be imagined. Guqing Zhao gently nodded. The two sects just seized the spirit vein yesterday and received great benefits. It is said that there's a plethora of rare spirit herbs and materials, as well as several high-quality spirit stone veins, and they also discovered an ancient ruin. Just the outskirts revealed Foundation establishment resources, celestial fire spirit liquid. Most likely next, the two sects will be focused on resource distribution and continue recruiting people to develop the ruins. Digesting Guqing Zhao's information, Qin Ming could not help but feel puzzled. Isn't it rare for these two sects to remain calm in the face of such significant interests and not fight over it? The current situation is not that simple. This time inviting fellow Taoist Qin here is specifically to warn you. Don't be deceived by surface appearances. According to reliable intelligence from Mirror Snow Pavilion, the Yunza wilderness will soon face a greater change. Even Mirror Snow Pavilion has delayed the opening of a branch in Cloud Marsh Immortal City, preparing to retreat. Guqing Zhao warned Qin Ming solemnly. Qin Ming could tell the sincerity from the other party, feeling a bit warmed inside. He cupped his hands in gratitude. Thank you, fellow Taoist Ge, for informing me. Simultaneously, he was greatly shocked internally, not expecting that even a powerful force like Mirror Snow Pavilion would choose to forego its business and withdraw, unwilling to be involved in the forthcoming trouble. It seems things are far beyond his expectations. He pondered secretly, already formulating plans in his heart. Afterward, the two sides talked for a bit. With Guqing Zhao seeing him off, Qin Ming left the shop. Harboring a slightly suppressed mood, he recalled Guqing Zhao's warning. A sense of urgency rose within. 10 days later, Qin Ming was watering the 2 acres of medicine fields in his courtyard. Knock, knock, knock. A knocking sound came from outside the courtyard door. Qin Ming put away the spell and peeked through the door crack. Surprisingly, it was his few neighboring residents, all present together. Qin Ming quickly opened the door and invited them in. Oh, fellow Taoist Qin's spirit plants are getting better. Master Yan entered and his eyes were immediately drawn to the lush spirit medicine field, with spirit bees fluttering colorful spirit grasses, a scene filled with vitality. His words couldn't hide his envy. Fellow Taoist Qin is certainly a remarkable person. Lin Zixiao also revealed a smile and greeted Qin Ming. After exchanging a few pleasantries with the neighbors, Qin Ming was still unsure why they suddenly came to visit him today. Before he could ask, Huang Xishan took the lead to clarify their purpose. Fellow Taoist Qin, what I am about to tell you is of great importance. You should only know, do not easily disclose. Just 10 days ago, Spirit Feather Sect and Golden Cloud Valley won a major victory over the barbarians at the front line, secured the Tier 3 spirit vein, and discovered an ancient ruin. Just the perimeter revealed Foundation establishment opportunity. Currently, very few people in the market know about this news. Our visit today is to invite fellow Taoist Qin to seek fortune together. Considering the strength we possess, we should have some opportunities. Huang Xishan finished speaking, along with the gazes of the other few directed at Qin Ming, awaiting his decision. Thank you for your kind intentions, fellow Taoists, but I, Qin, am shallow in cultivation skills, so I won't take the risk. Qin Ming almost didn't think about it and refused directly. He had already learned from Guqing Zhao that the inside story was not trivial, far from being as simple as it seemed. If he wasn't careful, he might end up with a shattered body and obliterated soul, not to mention any Foundation establishment opportunities. Moreover, he could steadily enhance his strength by cultivating, so there was no need to join in the excitement. Huang Shishan and several other neighbors looked astonished. They didn't expect Qin Ming to refuse so decisively. Ah, well, since fellow Taoist Qin is unwilling, we won't force it, so we'll take our leave first. Huang Shishan said with a face full of regret, cupping his hands to Qin Ming, preparing to leave. Qin Ming looked at the figures of his neighbors and hesitated, saying, "Do you really have to go, fellow Taoists? With two sects involved, even if there's an opportunity, it might not be so easy to compete for." Upon hearing this, Huang Shishan turned his head and sighed. "Alas, we can't compare to fellow Taoist Qin. You're still so young. If we weren't of this age, we wouldn't need to be so desperate. If we can't establish foundation before 60, our path will end here. Although we hold some status in the market now, when our lifespan runs out, it will all be in vain in the end. It's better to take this opportunity and make a desperate attempt." Qin Ming heard this, pursed his lips, knowing he couldn't persuade them, and said no more. He saw them off. He glanced at the 2 acres of spirit grass in the courtyard. Name: Divine Essence Fruit Entry, Soul Power Crystal X5, Maturity 1%. Name: Demon Flame Grass Entry, Ripening X5, Maturity 92%. Name: Ephemeral Crystal Bloom Entry, Ripening X5, Maturity 95%. Name: 7-Leaf Yellow Ling Entry, Bloodline Ancestor, Maturity 94%. The spirit grass he planted this year, except for the Tier 2 spirit plant Divine Essence Fruit, were all near maturity. He felt slightly relieved. After tending to the herb field, he left the courtyard. Qin Ming was preparing to head to the alchemy room in the Shanty area to refine spirit storage pills. After several failures, he could now proficiently refine this pill. Moreover, his pill formation rate was maintained above 70%, which was quite impressive for such a difficult pill for him. As Qin Ming walked on the main road of Qingyang Market, he encountered an old acquaintance. "Hey, fellow Taoist Qin, long time no see." Du Haifu, with his belly, strolled up in front of Qin Ming, followed by several Spirit Feather Sect disciples. Judging by his appearance, he should be here for business in the market. Qin Ming put on a smile and responded, "Fellow Taoist Du, long time no see." Du Haifu was full of joy, unconsciously patting his sleeve. Only then did Qin Ming notice his attire, a blue Dharma robe of a Spirit Feather Sect outer sect steward. He got promoted. "Oh, I must apologize. I should address you as Steward Du." Qin Ming quickly corrected himself. Du Haifu nodded slightly, not minding at all. "Fellow Taoist Qin, your status isn't low now. Calling me Taoist is fine. No need to care. When did you get promoted to outer sect steward, fellow Taoist Du?" "I didn't get the news." Qin Ming smiled and asked. Du Haifu waved his hand and said, "It's normal if fellow Taoist Qin doesn't know. It happened just recently." He went on to mention news that surprised Qin Ming greatly. Just 2 days ago, Steward Gu broke through to the Foundation establishment stage and jumped to intersect Elder. Considering I've served beside him for so many years, Elder Gu gave me the steward position. Du Haifu said with a look of pride as he spoke of Steward Gu's success. Qin Ming also showed an astonished expression. Did Steward Gu really establish Foundation? He remembered that Steward Gu had been stuck at Qi Cultivation Perfection for decades and was almost 60 years old. Unexpectedly, Steward Gu achieved the Foundation establishment at the limit, adding up to over 200 years to his lifespan. Indeed, Elder Gu is truly fortunate, discovering the whereabouts of the bandits who attacked Elder Zhuang's medicine garden during a mission. After reporting to the sect, he completed his contribution points accumulation and was directly awarded a Foundation establishment pill, Du Haifu said with some envy. Qin Ming suddenly understood that only the sect controlled resources like Foundation establishment pills, making it understandable. In a few days, there will be a small Foundation establishment celebration for Elder Gu. I came to the market to procure some supplies for the banquet. Du Haifu was obviously quite pleased with himself, likely having attached himself closely to Elder Gu. As the two chatted, suddenly, a commotion arose on the street of the market. An exceptionally ornate and luxurious carriage slowly moved on the main road, its doors intricately carved, its exterior elegantly decorated, drawn by 4 dragon horses, followed by several guards. Qin Ming peered through the curtains and caught a glimpse of a beautifully contoured young female cultivator inside the carriage, with a captivating figure. The carriage gradually moved away in the direction of Jushuan Pavilion. It's the 100 Flowers Saintess from the 100 Flowers Sect. Du Haifu seemed to recognize the person inside the carriage, and his face turned extremely grim. He turned and hurriedly cupped his hands to Qin Ming, saying, "Fellow Taoist Qin, I have matters to attend to and won't keep you for long. Come visit me in the sect anytime." Qin Ming returned the gesture. "Fellow Taoist Du, go ahead with your duties." After speaking, Du Haifu left in a hurry with his disciples. Qin Ming frowned, murmuring to himself, "Even the 100 Flowers sect is getting involved." Just as fellow Taoist Gu predicted, a storm is brewing. A month later, Qin Ming harvested the entries from the 3 spirit plants in the courtyard. Then, he went to the 5 acres Tier 2 spirit field, using up 6 ripening entry leaves, ripening the 4 spirit plants with entries. The moment he harvested the spirit plants, a green leaf, 2 blue leaves, and a purple leaf appeared in Qin Ming's sea of consciousness. Wait, it's actually a purple leaf. Qin Ming was astonished, not expecting the entry's grade to be so rare. He looked at the purple, spell duplication, entry leaf. Qin Ming's face showed a pensive expression, with a sudden terrifying thought flashing in his mind. This spell duplication, could it be that there are no restrictions on the spells duplicated? Could any spell witnessed be perfectly duplicated? Then if I could witness a golden core stage great power in action, wouldn't I be able to? Qin Ming just thought of it casually. He quickly dismissed the idea. Encountering a golden core master isn't that easy. However, obtaining such a rare level of entry made him very pleased. Qin Ming put the ripened 2 stalks of 5-colored rice and 2 stalks of red, silver, yellow hemp into his storage pouch, cleaning up the traces in the spirit field. Then he returned to the cool, small residence. In the quiet chamber in the courtyard, Qin Ming sat cross-legged on the mat. In the Cultivation Realm, even if you always remain cautious when disasters strike, you still can't avoid them. Only by improving one's own strength can one walk further on the immortal Tao. He first ate a bowl of already cooked top-grade blood locust rice, circulating the Qi blood several times. Then, with a thought, he used a Qi blood crystal entry. Bang! Suddenly, terrifying Qi blood poured down like torrential rain. Qin Ming couldn't help but let out a soft grunt. He quickly began to refine the Qi blood using the cultivation technique of the 100 Treasures Glazed scripture. The Qi blood contained within this Qi blood crystal far exceeded the boost provided by blood locust rice. Gradually, the Qi blood power in Qin Ming's body, which was already quite solid, accumulated to a peak. It began to change qualitatively. Bang! Accompanied by a ringing in Qin Ming's mind. The Qi blood around his body was compressed to the extreme, and a brand new power was born within him. Qi blood transformation. The glazed treasure robe originally formed by Qi blood power. At the moment he broke through the 7th layer of the 100 Treasures Glazed scripture, it also underwent a qualitative change. It transformed into a glazed armor condensed by true Qi blood spirit. The Dharma-defying effect was elevated to a whole new height, making it difficult for spells below the foundation establishment stage to penetrate this layer of armor. Through the transformation of true Qi blood spirit, Qin Ming's physical strength and power were also greatly enhanced. Having stepped into this realm, his current strength far exceeds others of the same level, and even among cultivators who have achieved body refining perfection, he has few rivals. Qin Ming excitedly stood up, took out the top-grade spiritual artifact, Cyan Nether Sword, infused it with mana, and tried to stab his own skin. The Cyan Nether Sword Qi brushed past, but he remained unscathed. Just the physical strength alone is comparable to a top-grade defensive spiritual artifact. Plus, the protection of true Qi blood spirit. Now, even an ordinary foundation establishment stage would struggle to deal with him. Having stepped into the later stage of body refining, while he cannot claim to be invincible in the market, he is more than capable of self-defense. As his strength boomed, Qin Ming felt the immense power within him, realizing he was completely different from before. A sharp glint flashed in Qin Ming's eyes. He clenched his hand, and a 3-inch layer of true Qi blood spirit emerged on his fist. A punch with this could hardly be withstood by someone at Qi cultivation perfection. Qin Ming stabilized his realm and began to ponder the next cultivation plan. He had now completed the 7th layer of the 100 Treasures Glazed Scripture, transforming Qi blood power into true Qi blood spirit. Moving forward, he aims to cultivate this technique to the 9th layer perfection, achieving the state of true gang manifestation. By then, solely relying on body refining technique, he can rival early-stage foundation establishment. In the days that followed, Qin Ming consumed the remaining 4 Qi blood crystal entries, causing the true Qi blood spirit in his body to surge again. He was now just halfway to breaking through to the 8th layer of the 100 Treasures Glazed Scripture. He then used the 5 week lifespan entries. Instantly, an indescribable power of time mysteriously descended upon Qin Ming. Qin Ming's lifespan instantly increased by 50 years, plus the longevity technique he practiced offered some longevity and vitality extension. This means that even in the Qi cultivation stage, he now has a lifespan of more than 160 years. The passing of time and the rotation of seasons are the rules of the universe. Such power is beyond the reach of even high-tier cultivators. The higher the realm a cultivator reaches, the greater their desire for lifespan. Many cultivators fail to surpass the barrier of lifespan before their time is up, regretting it for life. On the market, pills that increase lifespan are often unavailable, and the lifespan they add is extremely limited. Qin Ming opened his eyes, feeling the transformation, and was immensely pleased. With such a long lifespan, he now has enough time to pursue higher realms. Half a month later, Qin Ming visited Jushuan Pavilion again, seeking the latest news from Gu Qingzhao. He learned from her that the benefits obtained by the Spirit Feather Sect and the Golden Cloud Valley in the Yunzi Wilderness had spread throughout Wei country. Now, all sorts of characters were gathering at Qingyao Market. Not just Hundred Flowers Sect, but other forces on par with Spirit Feather Sect had also begun to surface. Some smaller forces were observing from the shadows, not showing themselves yet. In the Cultivation Realm, the status and level of Sect are determined not by the resources or the talent of its disciples, nor by the number of mid-level cultivators it has, but rather by the cultivation realm of the Sect's strongest cultivator. For example, in Wei country, where Qin Ming is, sects like Spirit Feather Sect, Golden Cloud Valley, and Hundred Flower Sect are considered second-tier sections, because the highest cultivation level in these sects is the fake pill stage. Therefore, based on the information Gu Qingzhao shared with Qin Ming, it's likely that there is a larger force maneuvering the current turmoil from behind the scenes. Otherwise, the Spirit Feather Sect would not allow other forces to freely come into their territory. This is precisely why, after acquiring a Tier 3 Spirit Vein, Spirit Feather Sect and Golden Cloud Valley did not immediately fall out with each other, but chose to cooperate and quietly make a fortune together. However, the number of recruited loose cultivators was just too many. No matter how they tried to keep it a secret, in the end, it couldn't be hidden. Leaving Jushuan Pavilion, Qin Ming walked on the main road of Qingyang Market. Suddenly, a heated argument erupted in front of him. He glanced from afar and saw a group of Hundred Flowers Valley cultivators confronting Golden Cloud Valley cultivators. Both sides seemed quite angry, and had they not been within the market, where restraint is required, they would probably have already drawn weapons against each another. Qin Ming didn't pay much more attention and quickened his steps to leave. Once back in the courtyard, he directed spiritual rain on the spirit grass in the medicine field and fed a spirit-feeding pill to the group of 4-winged frost bees. He was about to return to his cultivation when suddenly, there was a knock at his courtyard door. He went over, peeked out, and quickly opened the door. It turned out to be his neighbor, the eldest of the Feng brothers, fellow Taoist Feng Yuan. At this moment, he was covered in injuries, bandaged, with several alarming scars on his bald head, his right arm missing, his complexion ashen, and he appeared utterly lost. "Feng, fellow Taoist Feng, what happened to you?" Qin Ming hurriedly invited him into the living room to sit and poured him a glass of water. Feng Yuan didn't drink the water, sitting dazed for a while. He then looked at Qin Ming and muttered lowly, this time exploring the ruins for treasure, "Fellow Taoist Huang, fellow Taoist Yan, and my brother Feng Fan, they've all perished." Qin Ming's mind went blank. What? All the fellow Taoists have actually perished. What about fellow Taoist Lin? Qin Ming's heart churned violently. Among them, besides the Feng brothers who were at the Qi Cultivation 8th layer, the other three were all at Qi Cultivation Perfection. Even then, with such a lineup, only Feng Yuan survived. It's shameful to say, if it weren't for me escaping with fellow Taoist Lin Zixiao, using his array to cover us, I'm afraid I wouldn't have made it back. As for fellow Taoist Lin, when I was fleeing, I saw him surrounded by several cultivators at Qi Cultivation Perfection. I'm afraid his chances are slim. Feng Yuan sighed gently and spoke. Just as he finished speaking, Feng Yuan's face suddenly turned flushed, and a trace of black blood seeped from the corner of his mouth. He showed an expression of great pain, clutching his chest, gasping heavily. From Qin Ming's point of view, he clearly saw a shadow of death pass through Feng Yuan's pupils. Qin Ming, seeing this, hurriedly took out a healing elixir, preparing to administer to him. Cough, cough, fellow Taoist Qin, don't waste your pill. I have suffered mortal wounds. My meridians are completely severed, my Qi Si Dan Tian shattered. No amount of healing pills can save me. Feng Yuan coughed out a mouthful of black blood and reached out to stop Qin Ming's actions. I know it well. I'm already a dying man, just holding on to life with the help of the Genshua pill. Qin Ming looked at Feng Yuan with a complex expression. Though their relationship was only average, they had been neighbors for many years. The straightforward nature of the Feng brothers always left a good impression on him. Attacked by a group? Weren't the fellow Taoists supposed to go to the ruins to seek Foundation establishment opportunities? Qin Ming frowned and asked, puzzled. Feng Yuan wiped the black blood from the corner of his mouth, glanced at Qin Ming, then explained, "We did go to the ruins, but we only entered the outer region. Even so, we did obtain Foundation establishment spiritual objects, the celestial fire spirit liquid. Besides that, there were considerable gains. But just as we were about to leave, we were ambushed and attacked by numerous Sect cultivators. Among them, mostly were cultivators from the 100 Flowers Sect and Divine Herbal Sect, also some from the Spirit Feather Sect and Golden Cloud Valley. Everything we gained from the ruins was snatched by these Sect members. Our efforts were in vain, just gifting others with our gains. My brother and fellow Taoists also perished at their hands." Feng Yuan's eyes were filled with hatred as he spoke. Qin Ming heard this and realized he was right. These sects spread the news of the ancient ruins, revealing the presence of Foundation establishment resources. Their purpose was to lure loose cultivators to become disposable pawns, and even if they managed to benefit, they couldn't escape the sect's control. Fellow Taoist Feng, my condolences. Qin Ming didn't know how to comfort him. For a moment, silence fell between them, the atmosphere heavy. Feng Yuan hesitated for a long time, seemingly making a decision. Then he suddenly raised his head, gazed at Qin Ming, and said solemnly, "Fellow Taoist Qin, I have a transaction I wish to discuss with you. Are you willing?" "Oh, what kind of transaction?" Qin Ming was taken aback by the proposal. He saw Feng Yuan take out a jade bottle, a dragon-shaped token, and a tattered map from his storage pouch, laying them on the table. He then spoke slowly. "These are the greatest gains of our journey. The jade bottle contains the Foundation establishment spiritual object, celestial fire spirit liquid. However, this spirit liquid was discovered and secretly kept by me alone. Not even my brother knew. As for the token and map, they were discovered by the 5 of us in the outer region of the ruins, on an ancient corpse in a cave, presumably related to entering the ruins. When Qin Ming heard these were the legendary Foundation Establishment spiritual object, celestial fire spirit liquid, his heart pounded wildly. His Tao heart wavered. Cultivators, when trying to break through to Foundation Establishment stage, besides using a Foundation Establishment pill, supplementing with the Foundation Establishment spiritual object, celestial fire spirit liquid, can increase the success rate by another 20%. For breakthroughs to Great Realm, a 20% increase is a significant boost. I can gift these 3 treasures to fellow Taoist Qin, but in exchange, Qin Taoist must promise me 2 conditions, Feng Yuan said with a serious expression. First, should fellow Taoist Qin have the opportunity to reach Foundation Establishment stage, avenge us by killing a core disciple from those sects. Second, the Feng brothers, in the Cultivation Realm, have no family, only in a mundane mortal realm in Wei country, a remaining bloodline descendant. If possible, help take care of them within your ability. Upon hearing this, Qin Ming furrowed his brows deeply. Even though he was tempted by the celestial fire spirit liquid, the conditions were to avenge them, and the targets were sections. He pondered a while, then refused. Fellow Taoist Feng, I cannot agree to the first condition. I am merely a spirit plant master, weak in power, and dare not go against multiple sections. I can agree to the second condition, if truly possible. As for the token and relic map, I cannot accept them either. Qin Ming immediately saw that the dragon-shaped token and tattered map were real trouble. He knew countless people outside were searching for these items. The last thing he wanted was to invite trouble and become a target. Feng Yuan listened to Qin Ming's answer, showing disappointment. Yet he was powerless. Knowing Qin Ming's cautious nature, such attitude was expected. He struggled and hesitated, finally gritting his teeth. All right, then, as fellow Taoist Qin says, I hope you won't break your word. With that, Feng Yuan put away the dragon-shaped token and tattered map, then pushed the jade bottle containing the Foundation Establishment spiritual object, celestial fire spirit liquid, gently to Qin Ming. Qin Ming's eyes burned as he took the jade bottle, opened the lid, and scanned its contents with his spiritual sense. Inside, a small half-bottle of flame-like spirit liquid radiated an astonishing spirit charm, truly extraordinary. It's really the celestial fire spirit liquid. Qin Ming rejoiced immensely, closing it tightly and quietly slipping it into his storage pouch. After all, receiving this spirit liquid, he felt fairly justified since he had personally slain Jiang Kuan, the Spirit Feather Sect core disciple. Feng Yuan took out a handwritten note and a jade pendant, handing them to Qin Ming with a few words. Soon after, their conversation ended. Well, I should take my leave. Fellow Taoist Qin doesn't need to see me off. Feng Yuan said goodbye to Qin Ming and got up to leave. Qin Ming watched Feng Yuan's faltering departure, feeling a complex mix of emotions, a strange kinship. The Feng brothers were once prominent figures in Qingyang market, yet fell to such fate. As Feng Yuan reached the door, he suddenly turned, forced a smile at Qin Ming, and said self-mockingly, I know my time is running out. This departure is probably to find a place to die. The token and map will likely be buried with me. If fellow Taoist Qin changes his mind, feel free to retrieve them. With that, he quietly told Qin Ming of a location. Then, Feng Yuan no longer lingered, leaving Qingyang market. Watching Feng Yuan leave, Qin Ming chuckled bitterly. Going to rest in peace is fine, but why tell me? The night was deep and all was silent. For Qin Ming, tonight was destined to be a sleepless night. He lay in bed, staring blankly at the ceiling. Qin Ming could never have imagined. In the blink of an eye, several of his neighbors had been inexplicably massacred. His mind kept replaying the information Feng Yuan had mentioned, so he simply didn't sleep and pondered his future plans carefully. The next day, as the sun rose, all things revived. Qin Ming got up, opened the window, and exhaled a deep breath of turbid air. After a night of contemplation, he already had a plan. After breakfast, Qin Ming arrived at the 7th floor of the Jushuan Pavilion. Across from him sat the otherworldly Guqing Zhao. Fellow Taoist Go, with the current chaotic situation and the storm brewing, I wish to purchase some powerful items for protection. Do you have any recommendations? Upon hearing this, Guqing Zhao smiled gracefully, her breath fragrant as she said, "Of course I do." With that, she took out a few items from her storage pouch and placed them in front of Qin. Thunder, a single-use item. Once released, even those at the Foundation establishment stage must avoid it. Talisman Treasure, Golden Spirit Brick, can be used 3 more times, with power equivalent to a full force strike of an early-stage Foundation establishment cultivator. Qin Ming spent a fortune of spirit stones to purchase 5 Thunders and the Golden Spirit Brick Talisman Treasure, causing his storage pouch of spirit stones to shrink by more than half. But it was not enough. As he collected the items from the table, he casually asked Guqing Zhao, "By the way, fellow Taoist Gu, I wish to inquire about something. How strong is Elder Huangfu within your pavilion?" Guqing Zhao was slightly surprised by Qin Ming's question, but still answered frankly. "Huangfu Guardian is the strongest among the 3 main guardians of our pavilion in Wei Country. To exaggerate in the slightest, although Huangfu Guardian's cultivation is only at the mid-stage Foundation establishment, his actual strength ranks in the top 10 among all Foundation establishment cultivators in Wei." Unexpectedly, despite Huangfu Qi looking scholarly and refined, his strength was indeed formidable. After hearing this, Qin Ming felt assured. After concluding the transaction with Guqing Zhao, Qin Ming bid farewell and left. Just as he reached the first floor's hall, he heard some Sect disciples discussing at a wine table. "Hey, we've been in this backwater place for over half a year. Why hasn't the Sect given the order to seize that Tier 3 spirit vein? Yeah, idling like this isn't a solution. Are you stupid? Whoever dares to move on that Tier 3 spirit vein first will face the slashing knife from the upper Sect. Look at the Spirit Feather Sect and Golden Cloud Valley. Even if they've occupied the spirit vein, do they dare to openly use its resources? Besides, can they even weigh their capacity? Is that Tier 3 spirit vein and the ancient ruins so easy to claim? You know why the upper Sect, despite knowing about the Tier 3 spirit vein, hasn't sent anyone to the Yunza wilderness? They're just waiting to see who can't resist jumping out, so they can set an example." Qin Ming only paused slightly before leaving Jushuan Pavilion. He naturally understood the upper Sect mentioned by the Sect disciples just now. In Wei Country, the Thunder Origin Sect, guarded by a Golden Core ancestor, is the undisputed sole overlord-level existence. It governs the Spirit Feather Sect, Golden Cloud Valley, 100 Flowers Sect, Divine Herbal Sect, and 3 other Qi cultivation clans with fake pill stage, a total of 7 second-tier powers. Qin Ming's cultivation clan belonged to a 3rd-tier power, and in these cultivation clans, they could barely produce a single Foundation establishment cultivator each generation. Beyond, there were countless Qi cultivation clans and other forces. Guqing Zhao had long hinted to him that the current convoluted situation was likely driven by the Thunder Origin Sect behind the scenes. The 7 second-tier sects dare not touch the Tier 3 spirit vein and ancient ruins first, because the Thunder Origin Sect has yet to express its stance, leaving all in hesitation. They can only target loose cultivators, because, unwittingly, a 3rd-tier force under the upper Sect's command may be secretly coveting, ready at any time to replace the 7 great powers. For a time, the situation in Yunza Wilderness fell into a subtle state. No one wants to be the first to stand out and break this balance, because otherwise, whoever moves first might be jointly targeted by other forces and annihilated. Qin Ming left the Qingyang market directly. He rode the spiritual light shuttle straight towards Yunming Mountain. After half an hour of rapid flight, he arrived at the mist-shrouded Yunming Mountain. Landing on the mountainside, he announced himself to the guards. Before long, the guard returned and respectfully said, "Fellow Taoist Qin, Huangfu Guardian requests your presence." Following his previous memory, Qin Ming soon found himself in front of Huangfu Qi's cave mansion. Outside the cave mansion, the restriction array rippled like a wave, revealing an entrance. Qin Ming stepped inside. In the book pavilion of the cave mansion, Huang Fuqi was practicing calligraphy with a brush in flowing script. Upon seeing Qin Ming, he put down his brush and hurriedly greeted. "Friend Qin is here. Come, help me see how this new practice turned out today." Hearing this, Qin Ming respectfully bowed first. Then he walked over and looked down at the script. Honestly, he couldn't make much out of it. Excellent calligraphy, graceful as frightened swan, swift as a traveling dragon, truly vivid and strong. Qin Ming recited every idiom he could think of, timely flattering him. After all, he had a favor to ask soon. Huang Fuqi, hearing this, smiled knowingly and pointed at Qin Ming. "You really know how to talk, kid. So, what do you want from me?" "Elder Huang Fu, I wish to use the promise you granted me." Qin Ming stated his purpose directly. Upon hearing this, Huang Fuqi showed a gentle smile. "Go ahead. What would you like me to do?" A trace of unease flashed in Qin Ming's eyes as he cleared his throat and summoned the courage to speak. "I've heard that Elder Huang Fu's strength is exceptionally formidable, even within the entire Wei country cultivation realm. I have admired you for a long time. This time, I wish to use your promise to broaden my horizons. Elder Huang Fu, could you demonstrate for me your life's strongest spell in one strike?" Huang Fuqi. "Friend Qin, are you sure this is all you want?" Huang Fuqi was also puzzled, struggling to grasp Qin Ming's intention. "All right then, since I promised you, I won't go back on my word. Follow me outside. This place is too small for such a display." Seeing his agreement, Qin Ming's face lit up with joy. The two left the cave mansion, then flew on magical artifacts. After about half an incense stick's time, even Yunmeng Mountain behind them was no longer in sight. Qin Ming became curious. Was it really necessary to come this far just to cast a spell? Finally, Huang Fuqi stopped, his sleeves billowed, and he stood with his hands behind him. He then turned his head to Qin Ming and said, "Watch closely. I'll only display it once." Inside, Qin Ming was excited as he nodded obediently, for it was his first time witnessing a foundation establishment great power cast a spell. The next moment, Huang Fuqi began to move. As such, Qin Ming witnessed with his own eyes the most awe-inspiring scene since he had crossed over to the Cultivation Realm. Immediately, the purple spell duplication leaf in Qin Ming's sea of consciousness disappeared. After achieving his goal, Qin Ming bid farewell to Huang Fuqi. To be honest, the power of that spell just now was so impressive that he could believe it was cast by a Golden Core ancestor. It can only be described as terrifying. Now, the 100% replica of that spell is quietly lying in Qin Ming's storage pouch, transformed into a purple leaf. It can be used at any time, waiting for a destined person. With his card in his hand, Qin Ming suddenly felt much emboldened. Qin Ming was riding on the spiritual light shuttle, flying towards Qingyang Market. Along the way, he maintained a not too fast nor too slow speed, which was more mana efficient. At full speed, although he could achieve speeds comparable to the foundation establishment stage, the mana consumption was so terrifying that even Qin Ming could only sustain it for half an hour. Just as he was halfway there, Qin Ming frowned, suddenly sensing the fluctuation of a battle nearby. In a valley several hundred meters away, more than 10 cultivators from the Spirit Feather Sect were besieging a few loose cultivators, with a blue shimmering array covering the vicinity. If Qin Ming's spiritual sense weren't so strong, he would have passed by unnoticed. Don't let any of them escape. The news must not leak out. Kill them all. The leader, dressed in the core disciple attire of the Spirit Feather Sect, was wielding a Dharma sword in a slaughter spree. The other side, wearing minor attire of the Spirit Feather Sect, varied in cultivation, clearly recruited loose cultivators. They were fighting desperately, but trapped by the Spirit Feather Sect's array, they were captured like turtles in a jar. Among the Spirit Feather Sect members, a young black fat cultivator held a massive black hammer, emanating chi cultivation perfection mana fluctuations. He approached the struggling loose cultivator miners, sneering. Running? Why aren't you running? Since you found us, you can only blame your bad luck. With that, he wielded the giant hammer, smashing a miner harshly. The loose cultivator saw the giant hammer coming, panicked, and quickly summoned a round shield spiritual artifact to resist desperately. Yet the hammer struck his head, exploding into a mist of blood. The other loose cultivator miners seemed very close, and seeing their friend killed, their eyes widened in rage. They started fighting desperately, knowing they couldn't escape the array, even willing to die together. Ha ha, what a clever trick! Thunder Origin Sect would never have guessed that the Spirit Feather Sect had concealed a Celestial Spirit Root Foundation Establishment Perfection Cultivator, secretly using Tier 3 Spirit Vein Chi to break through to the Golden Core stage. No need to extensively mine resources. By the time other sects realize, it'll be too late. The white-haired, old loose cultivator, after letting out a bitter laugh, had his head chopped off by the Spirit Feather Sect's young leader with a spell. "Mind your tongue," the young cultivator said grimly, gritting his teeth. He then turned and resumed the slaughter. Qin Ming felt a chill in his heart. He had no intention of standing up for justice. Encountering such matters inadvertently, the best choice was to walk away. Qin Ming quieted his movements, intending to bypass the area using the clouds as cover. Who goes there? Suddenly, a purple Dharma sword attacked, aiming straight for Qin Ming's head. The array seemed to have a wide range, and as soon as Qin Ming approached, it captured his aura. The Spirit Feather Sect's cultivators quickly finished off the loose cultivators and transformed into escape lights to pursue him. Among them, there were 4 Qi Cultivation Perfection cultivators, with the others at mid to late stages. Just as Qin Ming was about to channel the Spirit Light shuttle to its fullest to rush out, the leading young cultivator snorted coldly, swinging the array chess in his hand. The blue array suddenly expanded, enveloping Qin Ming. Suddenly, numerous fierce spells attacked from behind. As the Spirit Feather Sect's members got closer, Qin Ming's appearance became clear to them. "So, it's just a spirit farmer from the sect. I thought it was some clueless fool." Qin Ming knew he wouldn't shake them off unless he dealt with them. His eyes turned cold as he formed a spell and pointed to the sky. In an instant, clouds roiled, and a mass of black thunderclouds, covering an area of several hundred meters, suddenly appeared in the sky, with lightning and thunder. At first, the Spirit Feather Sect's cultivators were startled by this display, but upon realizing it was Spirit Rain technique, they all breathed a sigh of relief and laughed. "Ha ha ha! This boy was so rushed, he used Spirit Rain technique. What? Is he going to give us a bath?" No sooner had the words fallen. A torrential downpour fell from the oppressive clouds. The Spirit Feather Sect's cultivators activated their mana shields to avoid the rain and moved in to kill Qin Ming. However, just as they were halfway, the rain contained countless hair-like, transparent, poisonous stings, ignoring their mana shields and defensive artifacts, piercing into their bodies. An eerie scene unfolded. The 10 or so Spirit Feather Sect cultivators, struck as if by lightning in midair, froze and fell down one by one. Then from the clouds, countless thorny vines descended, rushing towards the bodies below, absorbing the essence blood fiercely, transforming into blood pearls. Even 2 Qi Cultivation Perfection cultivators were caught, falling straight down. With a wave, Qin Ming collected the blood pearls. In just a moment, only the black fat cultivator with the Dharma hammer and the leading young core disciple remained. The leading young core disciple sensed something was wrong, panicked, and shouted, "No, it's a divine soul attack." Qin Ming clearly saw as the transparent, poisonous stings approached the young leading cultivator. A silver jade scarf automatically emerged from his embrace, reflexively covering the two. Qin Ming squinted, staring at the scarf, muttering, "He actually has a divine soul defense spiritual artifact for protection. Seemingly, he's another disciple with not a low status." Qin Ming immediately withdrew the evil cold ring. With a flash, he left behind an afterimage. Instantly, he was above the two. The 3-inch-long, true Qi blood spirit on Qin Ming's fist flickered as he struck at the black fat cultivator. The black fat cultivator reacted, forming a spell, causing the black giant hammer to double in size in the air. Like a mountain, it came crashing down on Qin Ming. Boom! A loud bang echoed. With just one punch, Qin Ming sent the giant hammer flying, its speed unabated. Then his fist crashed heavily into the black fat cultivator's head. Bang! The black fat cultivator's head, along with his entire upper body, exploded into a mist of blood. The corpse fell like a tattered cloth. Whiz! 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 The leading young cultivator cast a sword technique, with several green sword auras attacking Qin Ming from different directions. Two even curved around outside Qin Ming's field of vision, attempting to ambush from behind. Qin Ming showed no fear, unleashing his powerful spiritual sense. Just as the sword auras were about to strike him, Qin Ming casually reached out to grab them. Clang! He caught the green Dharma sword itself. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The green Dharma sword, firmly grasped by Qin Ming, trembled incessantly, letting out a cry. Poof! Not far away, the leading young cultivator, whose spiritual artifact was broken, spat out a mouthful of blood, his face aghast. Without hesitation, he flew with his flying spiritual artifact, trying to escape. Yet, how could he be faster than the top-grade spirit light shuttle? In just a few breaths, Qin Ming caught up to him. Without hesitation, he punched him into the nearby rock wall, the fearsome force directly ending him. Qin was about to search for the storage pouch. His expression changed as he sensed an even greater presence approaching. Foundation establishment stage? Qin Ming exerted all his strength to steer the spiritual light shuttle, disappearing into the horizon in an instant. He had just left. Two figures at the Foundation establishment stage landed at the scene shortly after. One of them was Elder Yu from the Spirit Feather Sect, his stern face now filled with anger. He glanced around and spoke lightly. Who could have done this? Could it be a Foundation establishment stage cultivator from another sect? In my opinion, it doesn't seem like the work of the righteous path. Look at how they died. It seems like they encountered a demonic cultivator. The other Foundation establishment elder beside him shook his head and frowned. Even demonic cultivators have appeared. Then, the news hasn't leaked, has it? Alas, it's fate. Let's hope it was just a coincidence. Let's gather the corpses and quickly return to discuss countermeasures. After saying this, the two cleaned up the traces at the scene and swiftly left. On the other side, Qin Ming flew at full speed, secretly returning to the Qingyang market. I didn't expect the Spirit Feather Sect's ambition to be so great. It seems now, regardless of whether the Spirit Feather Sect scheme to deceive the heavens succeeds or fails, a bloody storm is inevitable. By then, the innocent will surely be affected. Qin Ming realized that his foresight was extremely correct. Back in the courtyard, Qin Ming took out a dozen blood pearls and threw them towards the corner of the courtyard, where a withered blood-poison vine was. In an instant, countless black vines, like sharks smelling blood, went mad, greedily absorbing the essence within the blood pearls. The surface of the black vines swelled with sinister patterns resembling veins. They began to emit a blood-red, enchanting glow. Absorbing so many blood pearls at once, the withered blood-poison vine began to mutate again. First, the black vines grew thicker, began to twist and dance. The fine lines on their surface suddenly opened like hollow eyes, as if they wanted to devour souls, oozing with an inexplicable eeriness. The withered blood poison vine grew more than twice its size before it stopped growing. On the vines, a dozen or so eyeball-like buds appeared sparsely. Meanwhile, in Qin Ming's vision, two golden entries appeared. Name: Withered Blood Poison Vine. Entry: Ancient Wood Longevity Technique. Maturity 1%. Name: Withered Blood Poison Vine. Entry: Mana Crystal X5. Maturity 1%. Ancient Wood Longevity Technique. By cultivating a life-bound spirit plant, refining and absorbing the ancient wood vitality within the spirit plant, cultivators can nurture a wood spirit body belonging to themselves. Cultivating an acquired spirit body requires at least spirit plants above Tier 3 spirit wood to be used as a life-bound spirit plant for refining. Of course, the higher the grade of the spirit plant, the greater its future growth potential. If it's a rare heaven and earth spirit root, the resulting spirit body will be even stronger. Qin Ming stared at this entry, his breathing rapid. Cultivate a life-bound spirit plant. Practice the spirit body. Hope for immortal Tao lies ahead. With his trashy qualification of 4-element pseudo-spirit root, if it were paired with a wood spirit body, it would be comparable to a high-grade spirit root. Finally, there was hope. It's practically tailored for him. I happen to have a wood attribute spirit root, and the longevity technique I practice is also a wood attribute cultivation method. Originally, Qin Ming was worried about foundation establishment. After all, with his pseudo-spirit root qualification, even using a foundation establishment pill and a foundation establishment spiritual object, the failure probability of breakthrough was still high. However, once he mastered the acquired with spirit body, it would be different, meaning he could continuously improve his cultivation qualifications. The further he cultivated, the more important cultivation qualifications became for breakthroughs in the Great Realm. The gap cannot be bridged by pills alone. Now with this entry in hand, mastering this special spirit body is not an impossible task. But cultivating this ancient wood longevity technique also has demanding conditions. Using a spirit wood above Tier 3 spirit plant to refine a life-bound spirit plant also means at least a Tier 3 spirit vein is needed to plant and cultivate this spirit plant. The higher the level of the spirit plant, the more suitable the environment it needs to grow. He couldn't possibly compete with the major sects for that Tier 3 spirit vein, could he? It seems a bit unrealistic. Besides, practicing the spirit body technique requires accumulating the power of time over many years. The longer the time, the stronger the spirit body, and it often takes centuries to see results. The ultimate effect is powerful, but it's truly slow to start seeing results. If he toils for 100 years without cultivating a spirit body, he might already be nearing his grave. Qin Ming then shifted his gaze back to the withered blood-poison vine. This black vine is so extraordinary, it might even qualify as a seedling of a heaven and earth spirit root. And as long as there's enough blood pearls for it to devour, it seems the black vine doesn't have high requirements for the spirit vein environment. Plus, it grows pretty fast. Qin Ming suddenly realized this and felt a bit excited inside. Although he didn't know the grade of this withered blood-poison vine, based on various signs, the ultimate maturity grade should not be low. Thinking of this, Qin Ming no longer hesitated. He willed and used up the ripening entry, beginning to expedite the maturation of his black vine. 3 days later, the 4 ripening entries in Qin Ming's sea of consciousness were consecutively exhausted. He hastened to ripen the dozen eyeball-like buds with the fastest speed, finally obtaining a dozen black fruits. Inside were spirit seeds used for casting the thorn technique. Besides, a purple, ancient evergreen technique, entry and a green, mana crystal, X5 entry appeared quietly in Qin Ming's sea of consciousness. Immediately, he sat cross-legged. His will touched the leaf of the ancient evergreen technique entry. In an instant, an obscure and profound longevity technique emerged in his mind, passages of scripture vivid in his memory. A day and a night passed again. Qin Ming opened his eyes. He formed a complex spell with his hands, and a bit of emerald light flew from his brow. As Qin Ming pointed at the withered blood-poison vine, that speck of green light melted into the black vine spirit plant. Thump! Thump! The heartbeat sound of the reviving black vine, like drumbeats, resounded once more. In a daze, blood-colored runes flickered on the black vine's surface, finally intertwining. Life-bound spirit plant. It's done. Qin Ming could distinctly feel that this black vine spirit plant had already become one with him, with strands of essence of plants and trees continuously infused into his body, strengthening a mysterious connection between them. Suddenly, A wealth of insights overwhelmed Qin Ming's mind. He seemed to transform into an ancient tree, experiencing the cycle of seasons, the passage of time, traversing the river of time. Qin Ming hesitated for a moment, using up 5 leaf of space-time entries, which fell onto the black vine. To be honest, Qin Ming wasn't sure if ripening the black vine directly to 500 years would lose his control over it. The black vine went wild again, growing as if experiencing countless seasonal cycles. An unprecedented power of space-time descended upon this spirit plant. However, under Qin Ming's astonished gaze, the whole black vine seemed to turn into a pool of ink, seeping into the soil beneath.